I got it live.
You're live. Alright, now you can see yourself. Do you see yourself?
Yep. Okay, I hear us. Let me turn it up. Yep. Alright, sounds good.
Nice. Test mic, test mic, test my mic.
Mic off.
Your turn.
Yep, mic test 1 2, mic test 1 2. Why did it say mic off?
Is yours playing? I heard mine.
Yeah,
Turn off my phone.
I heard, let's see, I don't know if I'm still talking right here. Mic test for me again.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we're good.
Mic on.
Okay. So, here we are. Chill talk. We have some topics to talk about, and whoever's here to join our conversation, definitely chime in.
Yeah, we're here just to take a break from our daily lives of going to work and playing video games to take a second, reflect on reality, and talk about some things that are happening in our society today.
So, what do you want to talk about first?
So there's one topic that is really passionate to me that happened this week. And it's passionate to me for a couple of reasons. Just because I think it's, a movement for humanity to kind of move forward as, in the form of technology. But as a person with a disability, specifically a visual impairment, I think the race to the self-driving car is amazing, and it's awesome what they've done so far. But there are situations where we have companies such as Uber who can sometimes be careless with, their testing and kind of, with the state that self-driving is in right now. I feel like the carelessness, you need to be super careful about what you're doing as far as what you're testing, your technology, and what we're talking about, guys, is specifically the Uber story that happened this week. It had to do with a young woman who passed away, or was struck by an Uber self-driving vehicle. It's a really sad story, and it's really disappointing to see that it's a self-driving car, but to know that there was a human driver in there, and to know that Uber did not put in the proper regulations or safety precautions in place to alert the driver that there was a person passing along the road with a bike. I think it's insane. What do you think about this?
Well, for one, as she was crying, it was nighttime, correct? When that happened?
Yeah, it was at night.
I think they should do their testing. I get it that they're trying to do it in every environment, but I think they should perfect the automated driving in the daytime first, and then move to the nighttime. And they shouldn't try it. They shouldn't test in the real streets. They should test it first. I mean, I'm assuming they go through tests.
Yeah, so they actually have their campus or whatever in
yeah.
Pittsburgh, right? And so
Yeah.
they've done testing there. They've took it out to the streets of Arizona in this case. I think I'm not sure how, to what extent the LiDAR technology works, but I think it's kind of irrelevant whether it's day or night.
Yeah.
It's going to recognize the same sort of obstacle or same object that's in front of it. And I think inevitably it's going to make the same decision Um, but I mean, going back to the story, Uber didn't even have. There are emergency brakes in that are built into the system, and Uber had that disabled.
Yeah.
For whatever reasons they had behind that, I'm not sure of that, but that's one thing. Another thing was that there was a human, an Uber employee, a driver in the car, who was staring at a prompting system in order to log errors or events for the car to be further looked into. So that they actually caught, so like 6 seconds before it, the system noticed that there was an obstacle there and didn't know what it was. I think it was like 4 seconds before it noticed that it noticed that it was a car. And then maybe about 2 seconds before it noticed that there was a bike. It was a bicycle there. And that it needed to enable an emergency, like, try to swerve out of the situation, emergency brake. But it couldn't do that because Uber had disabled that. And that's ridiculous. And they also disabled an alert system. There was no alert system in place for the car to be like, hey, driver, that you're supposed to be there.
Mm-hmm.
You're about to run into something. Look up. You need to take control. That's ridiculous.
And the driver should have been alerted. Like, he should have been on alert. He or she should have been.
Yeah, exactly.
Looking. I don't know what they were doing, per se. Hopefully they weren't distracted, but yeah, they should have been. They should have been on point
And
with, like how Google does it, because Google driving cars
yeah, man,
they
and
actually have.
Tesla as well, right?
Yeah, Tesla. Yeah.
They've been involved in accidents before, but their accidents usually was human error involving another, I think, vehicle. I don't think any of them before has actually struck a person crossing the street. I might be wrong, but it just.
I think Tesla went through some accidents themselves, but I don't
Right.
think they weren't that fatal.
Right. It's just mind-boggling to me, like how you can put something out like that
Yeah.
and not have the proper safety.
And think about the self-driving trucks. Like, that's even scarier.
And what does that do to self-driving as a whole, in the future?
Yeah.
That's not going to do anything but make people more afraid of having self-driving cars hit the road. It's nothing. It's going to do nothing but scare politicians and regulators away from, putting the potential driving laws that we need in place for self-driving cars. They're already on the fence about all this stuff. This just doesn't make it any worse when companies like Uber are being careless about it.
I think they need to add sensors at like stoplights and stuff and cross sections for these types of like the type of automations, because it's one thing to have it on the car, but to have it also on like the crosswalks and everything.
Yeah.
It'd be better for the link for the car to that crosswalk to happen.
I
It's
think.
almost like a caution.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
I think that's where I think smart cities really comes into play right
Yeah.
there as well. Like what role the smart city can play in our future.
Yeah.
In a sort of tag team with all the technology that we have going on nowadays. The smart cities, smart lights are going to be able to communicate with these cars, maybe assist them in analyzing situations like that,
Mm-hmm.
letting them know, hey, there's pedestrians here before it even gets there, through the whole Internet of Things
Yeah.
platform.
Yeah.
That'd actually be pretty sweet.
Yeah. I think as a whole it has to come through the government as well, because it has to be government regulated,
Right.
which means they have to take their part into putting that in. But yeah, it's going to cost money, but instead of going to wars, we could definitely.
It's so much better spent.
Yeah.
It's a sad story. I'm really sad that the woman had to lose her life over
Yeah.
that.
Peace be upon her.
At the same time, I don't think all the blame. I don't think that we should, mistakes happen. We shouldn't just totally scrap things. Mistakes are building blocks for success. And I
Yeah.
think things like this are unfortunate but necessary in a way. Man, but it's so tough, especially when you have like uncharted roads, like wherever it might have been in Arizona. She
Yeah,
was walking on an unmarked crosswalk. She was just crossing with her bike too. So that's a tough call too.
it is.
It's a frustrating story,
Yeah, it is. And it's not the first. It's definitely
and
probably
it
not
won't be
gonna
the last.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Because you always see it in movies, the futuristic movies, how they have automation working perfectly in a way
Mhm.
until the shit hits the fan and robots take control, and that's where it's always scary.
Absolutely.
But that's where a lot of people are like, oh, that's gonna happen. Robots are gonna take over. And I don't think that's gonna happen, but unless some crazy programmer decides to do their thing, hack the system. But
Unleash the evil robots upon the world.
which is definitely, there's always good and bad in technology as
Yeah.
we see it. Always good and bad. And we always see the good light, and they never shine the bad light because that's always in the shadows.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
always tend to see what smartphones have done for us nowadays, and it's done so much good, but it's also kept us on our couches more,
Yeah.
and
And
it's kept us,
communication.
yeah,
Yeah, communication.
disconnected from the world.
Yeah, human communication has declined.
It's
Uh,
crazy, right? You're
yeah.
like so connected with the world, yet you're so disconnected.
Yeah, I mean, people are afraid to talk to one another, and or people can't even hold a conversation with one another, and it's weird. I mean, kids nowadays are just, their IQ, I would assume. I mean, their IQ, I don't think it's declining. It's just their communication skills are declining,
Right.
which is bad for our future, so to speak. So,
I
so
think that translates into writing too nowadays. It's rare to see
yeah,
good writing, I feel like.
yeah. And kids nowadays are starting off with iPads
Yeah.
and writing like they don't teach cursive anymore apparently.
Right. Yeah, it's very rare to teach cursive.
Yeah. And how are people going to learn their signatures and learn to write in cursive? I mean, hell, I still write in cursive.
Yeah, many people still write in cursive. You got to be expected to read it too. This is just going to be
Exactly.
like another foreign language we don't know.
It's like the skill sets are declining, which is weird. Speaking of smartphones, let's talk about the iPhone.
Yeah, let's segue into this Apple story. Yet again, I think Apple sort of failing their fanboy base.
Yeah.
And sort of throwing some mistrust out there. And this is all about Apple's the new class action lawsuit that has been brought up against Apple for them knowing that the iPhone 6 and 6 Plus were susceptible to bending before they were actually launched, and they went ahead and launched the phones with that knowledge. Also,
they knew they were going to make a big buck off of it.
Yeah, they would say, I think that the Apple lawyers responded with something, going more into detail of the story, the class action lawsuit also involves touch disease, which also affected those phones, and part of the rationale for the touch disease was supposed to be that the bending of the iPhones would actually cause the the touch sensor digitizer chip to kind of be dislodged, and would therefore kind of cause that touch disease, which would cause flickering and touch delays or just weird touch responsiveness behavior. And so Apple says that was a design choice. The bending was not affecting the touch screen at all, but the digitizer would only be affected if the phone was dropped repeatedly. So they're basically putting the blame on the iPhone user, saying that if you dropped your phone, well, it's your fault that you've got this touch disease thing. So the bending, they knew it was like, I think the iPhone 6 was 2 or 3 times more likely to bend than the iPhone 5S, and the iPhone 6 Plus was about 7 times more likely to bend than the the 6 Plus was 7 times more likely to bend than the iPhone 5S, which is insane. Like,
It is.
a company that's supposed to be known for their quality
Oh yeah.
and touts it like we're the best. And it's funny because there's this like atmosphere that like Apple engineers are superior than all other phone manufacturer engineers, but you know they make the same. They're susceptible to the same mistakes anyone else is.
Yeah, they are. Which is kind of weird to me, at least. It's like if Google were to make that mistake.
Well, yeah, and Google similarly with their Pixel 2 or their Pixel 2 XL
Yeah.
specifically.
Uh-huh.
And I've got that phone right here with their displays. You know, saying that it was you know, their choice to put out that display, but you know, it's a crappy display, hands down. So there's no arguing it. You screwed the consumer. Apple screwed the consumer. So many companies do, and I think that Apple needs to be held at the same standard and not just be forgiven. Oh yeah, they're Apple. They put out the best products. iPhone 10 has displayed many problems
Yeah.
already. iOS 11 was a freaking bug fest.
Yeah.
So I think that just companies need to be more transparent about what they're doing.
Yeah.
Especially nowadays.
And I think that's one reason why Sony has come out with the same looking phone for a while now, is because of their why break something that hasn't been
Right.
Why break it? I mean, everybody complains about like the bezels and stuff, and I mean, I got a Sony phone myself. It's a great phone. It's great quality. I've always loved Sony phones. But yeah, I mean, they've engineered that phone to where I haven't gone through any fails yet with it, so thank God.
No, Sony definitely. They're so under the radar, right?
Yeah,
but
they
they make some quality
They're-
stuff.
They're almost like Linux. They're
Yeah.
the brother that makes everything, and then every other company kind of either copies it or picks off of it and modifies it.
I feel like they've been pretty good as far as like support too.
Yeah, they are.
With Android updates and whatnot.
Finally.
They're just so overshadowed by the Samsung and you know all these.
Samsung iPhone really own it. It was like almost like Nokia was big at one
No,
point.
and it's so I love that Nokia is coming back,
Mhm,
man.
yeah.
HMD is totally bringing
Yeah.
Nokia back. I'm so excited for that.
Yeah, there needs to be another competitor on the field. But I feel like Samsung and iPhone own the market here in the U.S. And as we know, Nokia and Sony kind of
Yeah,
they
and
display their market over there in Europe and Asia.
and a lot of companies are actually you see are pulling out. You know, Huawei's trying to make a big push into
Yeah.
the U.S. They
Yeah.
can't seem to get in. HTC I think is pulling out.
Yeah.
They're pretty much done. Google bought out their freaking smartphone division. They got no need to be in the U.S. Google's got a real chance to be an up-and-comer, you know, competitor against Samsung and Apple.
Yep.
OnePlus has been doing a great job, you know, giving a bang-for-buck phone, which has been sweet. OnePlus 6 is awesome. Speaking of Google, though, they, I don't know if you heard this, but recently a dozen employees quit Google in protest of Project Maven. And
Go ahead and talk about
Project Maven is actually a military initiative or a military project where Google is basically working together with the government, the military, to use their AI, artificial intelligence technology, to use in their drones, you know, in military as a whole. So
And I think they've always been doing that. It's just now I think they just come to the light. They had to come out and say it because people were probably finding out about it.
yeah, I think, right, and how long, I think that AI has been a part of military
For a
for
long
longer
time.
than we've even known,
Yeah,
right? And so now it's only being made public.
yeah. Because they were working on medic robots.
Right, and people are starting to see the power that Google AI has,
Oh yeah.
especially after this last conference with Google Duplex.
Uh-huh.
And they're, dude, it's insane. And to think that computers are going to be making the moral decisions on whether or not to take lives, I think is pretty scary.
It is.
Um, it really takes the human aspect out of, war. I think it's it's it has a human nature to it, right? You need that sense of humanity within war, and I feel like just throwing in AI, AI is going to be fighting AI, well, and then eventually it's just like, well, who has the better computers?
One big video game.
Yeah, and it's one big video game, and it's already that.
Yeah, I mean, look at the drone system.
Yeah, and you got the guys sitting with joysticks, just taking, shooting, doing whatever. I think it's scary, man. Like, what's to say that there's a drone that's using this AI to say that, oh, we're 90% positive that you look like this dude that should be killed.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, boom, we're gone. And, oh, that wasn't our guy. Whoops, my bad.
Yeah, there's no feeling to it.
Yeah, there's no emotion whatsoever. It's scary. I think there needs to be maybe some AI regulation. What should AI have the power to do?
Yeah.
As far as like helping humans or serving humans, like what are their services gonna be? What
the benefits?
Yeah, what are the benefits? What are the cons? I mean, it's becoming a reality, and it's becoming something that we really need to start thinking about.
Yeah.
Because it's gonna come faster than we know.
Yeah. It's already here.
Yeah.
It's already here as far as we know. And that's the scary part. I mean, the fact that the United States government send a regulation to where they can use drones on American citizens. That's also, and I bet a lot of Americans don't even know about it.
Yeah.
And that's also another thing that people have to be aware of. Yeah, I mean, America's always going to be in a war, whether we like it or not, whether we want to talk about it or not, because there's so many private companies now in the military service that when even in Iraq and Afghanistan, we have our military there, but they're running into private contractors who are hired to do another mission that they run into. And I was watching a documentary on that, and what up, Medic? Of course. Love you, Medic. But going along with that, yeah, a lot of people aren't aware of how many contractors there are in the service, and it's just weird. And military personnel, they say they leave the military to join the private contracts because they make more money. It's like it's kind of crap now. I mean, it sucks, and we lose the good soldiers to go off and do these contract missions.
Agreed.
And God knows what they're doing.
Yeah.
And I mean, yeah, they're making a good buck because they're trying to make a living. So it's like what does the military have to do about that? And yeah, they're running into a lot of issues. That's why we're all over the world. I mean, you have millions, millionaires, billionaires hiring these contractor groups to go on a mission to do their justice, which is kind of wrong.
Yeah, man.
Because it's running into other things. I mean, look at the Clinton Foundation and what they did with Benghazi. Same shit. And our military people had to go there in the grunt of it and deal with that shit. And they almost started a war there.
Yep.
They almost start wars everywhere. They're crazy bunch of people.
I mean, but like, good on those Google employees, man. I fully support. They're quitting. I think that's an awesome cause to be quitting for. I don't want to see the awesome developments of technology. I really don't want to see that put to evil use. And Google, their whole motto is like, don't be evil, right? Google, don't be evil. Yeah, but we're gonna take our AI and use it to kill people. Yeah. So it's I don't know. Let's see how it works out.
Yeah. It just sucks how militaries around the world are. I mean, look at the whole North Korea, South Korea ordeal. You had a crazy guy that wanted to blow up the whole world a week before he gave in. So it's kind of weird to see a psychopath go from one light to another, and people accept that. I personally don't accept that. It's weird. I can't see a crazy, quote-unquote crazy guy, an actor, so to speak. Because it's almost acting. It's
Yeah.
acting. I mean, there's a lot of things that happen in the shadows that we don't know about. It's almost distracting
It is.
to where, yeah, we'll be nice. We'll be nice. But then we'll be crazy after. They won't know what's going on. It's like, man, it's like, there's a lot of distrust there. I mean,
Deception, right?
yeah, it's a big deception. And I don't even know what to say about that because it's just weird to me. And the fact that like when they want to cover up something, when they want to hide something, it's like it's very vague to when they do something. Like when they supposedly killed Osama, there was no footage.
Right.
And the SEAL Team 6, they were dying off, random car accidents and stuff. That was the excuses of death. You know, peace be upon them.
Yeah.
Because they didn't want the truth to come out. So how do you hide the truth? You eliminate the truth.
Exactly.
So, and that's what they've been doing all over, you know, for a long time, even back in the day.
Yeah.
So it's weird, man. I mean, look at 9/11, for instance. Very, very. That was just an awkward setup all in general. I mean, shit.
A lot of
There was a lot of deception there.
A lot of deception.
It was just like a lot of misguided information, so to speak, across all platforms. It was just like one thing happened here, and then another thing happened,
right.
and then it was just like, what do we go with?
Right.
And then the people coming out and saying, "Oh my God, this happened," and then on the news they say another thing. It's just to block that out. And then building 7, was it, or building 3 or whatever?
Yeah.
That was a couple blocks away. That fell out of nowhere. I mean, come on. And the fact that the buildings fell at free falling speed. I mean, come on.
Dude, it's like we're living in a freaking movie.
We are.
And just no one seems to realize it. Like, okay, there are directors behind these action scenes that we're seeing. I think not all the time, but definitely some of the time.
Yeah.
Because they're definitely just things that happen. I think people are crazy in general, and they're gonna do crazy things.
Yeah.
But there are definitely things that I think are on purpose, and things that are not on purpose. I think that the inevitable search to the truth is endless. You know, you never know until you just keep searching.
And you know what? The truth is there. You just have to use your knowledge.
Yeah, take the facts that you have and really just make the
Yeah.
best decision possible,
For
the most
yourself.
rational decision. Yeah, whatever makes sense to you. And if it's
Because we both go through our own.
yeah, everyone has different experiences in life, right? And we only know life based on our experiences.
Yeah.
And our knowledge is only as good as what we've experienced. And I think that's a true sentiment, to go out there and experience as much as you can so that you can gain as much knowledge as possible, because who doesn't want to keep learning, you know?
Yeah. I mean, if you take the word politic and you split that up, politics, many bloodsuckers, and then you take history and you split that up and it's his story. That's where it gets a little iffy, because you're like, okay, if his story is said this way, and then you go to another country and it's spelled different, you know, it's said differently.
Yeah.
In a different. It's almost like the Bible and how that's broken up in many different, you know,
Testaments.
and
right.
dude, it's just like, okay, then if he said this and this guy said this, and you go back to the Old Testament, why did they break that up? Like, why are there different beliefs in that religion? I mean, and that's why Islam right now is being attacked so hard, because that's one of the main religions that are. Duncio, what up, man? He said only the winners write history books.
Yeah, and that's up to us to be the winners, man.
Yeah. And it just sucks because yeah, Islam is just being hammered right now because their religion, that religion holds, it still holds to today and can't be broken up. That's why they created all this stupid crap, like all these extremist groups to shine a different light.
Yeah. It's just being attacked for, I think, its ability to, the power of it to bring people in.
Yeah.
It's such, it has such a bad rep, but I think that so many people that actually take a look at it will realize that it's nothing that it's presented to us in, regular media outlets. But
Yeah.
just like with anything else, if someone were to tell me Christianity or Judaism was terrorism, I'd be like, hold on, man. What are your claims? Where you?
Yeah.
I would have to read the Bible
Yeah.
and the Torah myself and figure out this stuff.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. We're too lazy to go out and find answers.
Which is sad too because it's right at our fingertips.
Yeah, I mean, if it's some
Always at our
guy's not
fingertips.
giving it to us on a video,
Yeah.
you know,
you don't
we're
see
just
it on Facebook or Instagram. It's not true. It's really weird how people are just are gaining their knowledge a different way. It's cool and it's bad at the same time.
right. It's awesome, but it's so skewed now.
It is.
I think it's awesome that like we have this open source platform where anyone could go out there and talk
Mhm.
about their views, put out their opinions, because it's really what it's about. Freedom of
Mhm.
speech, sharing your opinions, reaching compromises. I mean, I think it's awesome. You learn from each other.
Yeah, and that's the best. That's probably the best way to learn. I mean, going back to our history, it's been skewed so much and rumored so much, and that they created their own history. And what I mean by they is the people who control most of the world right now, and say what goes up and what goes down.
Yeah. Muslims don't hate us, guys.
Thanks, Manik, for the cheer. Thank you. What's up?
So Muslims don't hate us, guys. They just
Yeah.
want to be our friends.
Yeah, they're people too, and
Yeah.
I think it all comes down to people. Because
Exactly.
you could put 3 people with 3 different religions in the same room, and it all comes down to person, man.
Yeah, everyone is just as likely to do anything terrible based on the experiences that they've had in their life. I think that
Yeah.
you raise a person in hell, they're gonna do some hellish things.
Mhm.
You raise a person in a pretty good environment, and we have control of so many people's environments, which is the crazy thing.
Yeah.
As like the United States as a whole.
Yeah, and holy books, going back to that matter, they're just a form of like a rule book of like what to do and what not to do.
Yeah, guidance.
Yeah, it's a guidance. It is, and that's why I'm like I kind of shy when people say shy away from people that say I'm agnostic or I don't believe this, I don't believe that. I mean it's your belief, it's cool, but I guess when it comes down to that main point, it's just you do believe in something and you have to believe in something because there is something there.
Yeah.
And I mean, what do you do when you're in a bad situation? You pray. I mean, come on, it's our natural instinct. We pray, and that's what we brought up on
Yeah.
from the beginning of time.
It's innate, I feel like,
yeah.
like you just
It's like in
you
nature.
have this need to turn to something, to someone. You don't really know what it is, who it is,
Yeah.
but it's something.
Yeah.
Whether you think it's there or not, you're still thinking about whether it's there or not.
Yeah.
So there is a debate. You're denying something that's there. I don't know. It's interesting,
Yeah, it is. It is. And like I said, I mean, everybody has their own beliefs. I don't go against what you
Toleration, man.
believe in. Yeah, it's all toleration.
I respect your beliefs. You respect mine. We're good.
Yeah.
Why can't we just live a good life?
Yeah, and that's what the I guess the haters in the world are trying to do. They're trying to inspire hate, and that's why I disagree with social media, because social media is a big receptive. I think that's the word to use. It inspires like depression and hate, like jealousy almost, and backbiting, and
Absolutely
it
backbiting. Yeah.
it sucks because if you talk shit about somebody on social media, it's like hundreds of people
Oh, yeah.
see that, whether you want to believe it or not, and then your bad deeds.
Well, they
because-
resonate for years, potentially, and it's like even after you die, that
That
shit's
still
gonna
carries
linger.
on.
Yeah.
Yeah, it lingers, and then even those people that read it, it even gives them a sorts of. It's weird, man. It's, and that's why I pull myself out of that because it's here. Dunseal said because you have to believe what I believe. I'm right. My religion is true, and yours is not. Yeah, it's true. It's true. And when you start, like, if you start going to people and saying, "Hey, I'm right and you're wrong," it's kind of bad on that person's part because it's like, okay, um, you're you're telling me this belief, and you don't like.
It's
'Cause- go ahead.
it's just about having the information, right?
Yeah.
You have the information from one side, from the left, from the right, from the front, and from the back. You decide what's best, and for your life. I think in the end, and no one should tell you what you should.
Wait? Somebody said, "Who's the hot one on the right?" Which one's? Are we talking this guy here or blue shirt or black shirt? That's. But anyways, maybe I should update the status thing. But yeah, I think it's wrong if you try to force your belief down somebody's throat.
For sure.
I think it's best if you speak about it in an open mind kind of setting, and if you're open to speak about it. We're both smoking hookah actually. One has a blue hose, the other one has a red hose.
Take the blue hose or the red hose.
Yeah.
Your choice, Neo.
The Matrix. It's come for you.
Either way, you're sucking.
Yeah, we're both sucking. So just to shine some light, if you're ever having a conversation with somebody, always try to keep it in an open setting to where they are comfortable with it. Because I've been in that position a lot, to where talking about politics and shit like that, and you kind of feel out the person in the beginning
Yeah.
before you even jump into that shit, because then it gets weird. Because there's a lot of closed-minded people out there that want to believe, the stupid shit that they see on TV.
Yeah, I mean, and that's cool too,
That is cool, but then again, it's like, okay, they get their information from somewhere, and it's your turn to do your own research, so you don't believe a lie, if it is a lie. Because I'm the type of person, if something happens, let's say a false flag happens in this country, I like to call it false flag, but let's say that happens, another shooting. I want to know when, where, and why, and how, and why.
Yeah.
My main question is, how did that happen
Right.
with the technology that we have nowadays, with the people tracking people nowadays? Somebody has a job to track somebody always, and there's probably somebody watching us right now. It's probably
I mean, hey, we're giving them the platform to watch us right now, right?
yeah. We got
It's
two
not.
cameras set up. I mean, it's all there.
I think it's so funny, even when we talk about things like privacy, like, oh, we're so concerned with privacy, yet I'm going to display my whole life on Facebook, on Snapchat. I'll do this on Instagram. I'll post every meal that I have on Instagram, but I'll post like half of my life on Snapchat. Like, no matter where you go, you're going to get a snippet of my life. It's like,
Yeah. And don't think that's
I'm already signed up to give all my privacy away.
Yeah, and it's all there. When you install a program, it's like, hey, can we take control of your photos and your microphone and your video and your cameras? I mean, when I installed Instagram, just for shits and giggles, that's exactly what I saw. Hey, can we take control of this, and this, and this? I'm like, no. I'm like, there's no reason for you to do that. I mean, hey, can we look inside your photos? Hey, sure.
Instagram needs access to your media files, your photos, your contacts, and your sex files.
Yeah. Dunseal said it's probably written in the EULA, in the guess, the rights and regulations of buying a smartphone? It is, because I know Samsung has that.
For what?
Since you bought this phone, you give us we give you you give us the permission to do this and this.
Yeah, I think that's true.
Samsung released their stuff actually because it's open. It's all there. People just don't read it because it's 400 pages.
Yeah.
But it's all there.
It's like the South Park thing. You didn't read.
That's it. Yeah, end user license agreement. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dunciel. Yeah, that's what it is.
Screw the end user.
Yeah, he's on our same page. He knows. Yeah, but it's all there. You just gotta read it, and some people take the time to read it. And,
it's in that little booklet that we all just throw aside when we buy our phones.
Yeah.
Oh wait. Oh yeah. Instructions, warranty information. Screw that. Here's the phone.
Yeah, we don't care because we want to use that device.
Hell yeah.
It's in everything now. I think it's in everything now. Whether we like it or not. So we can't run away from it. We can't shy away from it because it's always going to be there.
Mm-hmm.
So, what up, Fei? Avalon's in the house.
Yo.
So, shit, I lost track of what we were talking about. We were talking about,
basically, guys, treat each other nice.
Yeah.
And nice things will come to you. And don't be a pansy about privacy because you already gave it up.
Yeah, and love always triumphs. Hey.
Google already knows everything about us, guys. Just let them
Google
help
yourself.
us. Yeah.
Yeah, Google yourself. I Google myself and thanks, Faye. I Google myself and my address popped up and hey, you live at this address now. I'm like, really? And then if you want to take that off, it's like you got to go through procedures of how to get rid of that shit. I'm just like, man, and that's where my laziness comes in. I'm like, okay, whatever. Somebody's gonna find out.
Yeah.
It doesn't even matter. It's always there.
Oh, dude, did you hear about that Alexa story?
Go ahead. With the microphones?
It had something to do with the microphone.
I knew
okay,
it.
Hold on.
And I know Google had the same shit.
No, okay. Well,
maybe because they're the same thing, dude.
Okay, well, it's the same sort of concept, right? Yeah. Okay, but I don't know. This lady, I guess, had Alexa's Amazon Echoes set up all around her house. And she had the whole smart home set up with the lights and whatnot, the thermostats. Yeah. And so she would use Alexa to, I guess, have conversations with her husband.
Yeah.
Or no. She was sitting in the room with her husband. They were having a conversation about hardwood floors. And somehow, like, the call feature on the Echoes was activated. And their conversation was recorded and sent to the husband's coworker in Seattle, which was like 170 miles away from where they were. And so this guy got email recordings of their conversation, and so he called the coworker and he was like, dude, you need to like unplug your freaking thing right now because I can hear all your conversations. And he's like, no, you're not, you're screwing with me. He's like, you were just talking about hardwood floors. And he was like, oh shit, like they actually can listen to us. So they ended up unplugging every single like Echo in their house, and they're not using it again. And she called Amazon, and they literally said, I'm sorry to her like 30 times. Like they said, oh yeah, we see what you're talking about. We see how this happened. And the dude was just like, I'm sorry. Like, thank you for bringing this to our attention so we can like fix this in the future. I was like, dude, that's crazy.
I already knew that was going to happen. I think we talked about it before.
We have, yeah. And I still have a Google Home in my room. I'm not shying away from it. I do deactivate the microphone. I think there should be a voice command where you can be like, hey Google, it's private time, and then it turns off all the mics or goes into this privacy
like
mode. I think that'd be cool.
Yeah, privacy mode.
Should definitely think about adding something like that.
I hope.
Well, Amazon's definitely gonna do something after this.
And I think that goes with the flaws, the good and the bad of technology, where it's awesome, it's convenient,
but
at the same time, there's always somebody that's gonna be there to fuck it up.
Yeah.
But that's just our life, right?
Hey man, like, first world problem, son.
Yeah, first world problem for sure. For sure. If anybody's watching, you guys have anything you guys want to talk about?
Yeah, join the conversation.
Yeah, join us. We're just kind of just bringing shit. We're just pulling shit that we think.
We're just expressing our frustrations with world topics, tech topics. I'm a huge Android geek. If you guys want to talk about that stuff, I know we've got a PC gamer geek right here. So
Well, I work in the gaming environment, so I analyze games too much when I play them, and it's just there's some things that frustrate me, especially with these big timers. Mixchan says, "You all about iPhone?"
oh man, are we starting that conversation?
Eh. Uh, let's see here. Maddox says, "Dude, you guys hear about when talk about Echo at 3 a.m.?" Let's talk about the iPhone. Mixchan, you want to talk about the iPhone?
What about the iPhone?
Yeah. So iPhone's great. Its technology platform's great. What I don't like about it is I guess the quality of the phone. It could be better for how much it is, you know? For me, it could be designed better, technology-wise, on the case platform. Why is it that a phone that costs $1,000, why can't they do better with it? Like when you drop the phone, why can't they do better with that technology? Like Sony, for instance, they create bumpers on the corners of the phone. So when the phone hits the ground on any surface, it blocks out, let's say, 60% of the shock from the ground of the phone, and which doesn't crack the whole screen or even crack the screen in general. I've tested it on my phone. I do have a Sony phone, so I do put that stress test on that. And you could see, I mean, people do that on YouTube now, where they get a phone and they break it, and then they show you the flaws.
Yeah.
Like the good and the bad of the phone. And most phones do bend because they're not built on heavy aluminum. Even iPhones, I mean, they seem like they're built on metal, but they're not.
So I think that the iPhone 10 has stainless steel rails with
Yeah.
glass back, glass front. Here's my beef with iPhones. Not that I have a beef. I think my beef is more with Apple than iPhone itself.
Yeah, the company itself.
I think iPhone is a great product, right? It was the pioneer to basically kickstart this whole smartphone thing, which is awesome. Like, we wouldn't have all the sweet phones that we have nowadays if it wasn't for the iPhone, right?
True.
I think they do have great build quality. I'm going to disagree with you on that front.
That was when Steve Jobs was alive.
I think for a while they were stale, right? Especially going from iPhone 6 even to the iPhone 8 to this point, because all they really did with that was throw a glass back on there. It's an awesome phone, right? And they're trendsetters for sure. My thing with iPhones is that they don't offer me. It's all about how Apple wants me to use my phone, and not about how I want to use my phone. So, I mean, personally, I'm a Pixel user. I have a Pixel 2 XL, and I customize it the way I want. I apply my icon packs, my themes. You know, I have the ability to root it if I wanted to. Not that I need to nowadays, just because it's awesome. The feature set, I think, is a little better. I can't live without a back button too. That's something that is a deal breaker for me. I can't live without that back button. I'm really a fan of the gesture-based system that they went with the iPhone 10. I think that was a feature from a long time ago. I've always wished that the operating systems would go towards a gesture-based feature, which is what iPhone 10 did, and now Android P is following suit, which is awesome. I think phone design needs to change, man. Like, I hate this notch crap. I hate phones with notches. The only phone I think has an excuse to have a notch is the iPhone 10 because of their Face ID. I think Face ID is crap. That's a whole nother conversation. But I hate the fact that Apple is the influencer for all of these other Android manufacturers. Like, it irritates me. And do your own thing, you know, be creative. It's not all about.
I just hate how Apple.
It's frustrating.
Yeah, I just hate how Apple. Dunsteel said all they did was copy Samsung.
In what way?
In what way, Dunseal?
With the
Or-
glass
or-
back. I think
Sorry, Dunpeel.
I'm assuming
Calling
with the
you Dunseal.
design. I think they had to. If they went with another aluminum back iPhone, first of all, they couldn't have included wireless charging,
Yeah.
which is something that really was criticized in the iPhone's past for not having.
Mm-hmm.
And I think going for the glass back, yeah, they did go the Samsung route on that front, and they went ahead and purchased Samsung displays, which, is all good and everything.
Dunpeel said, like the features from iPhone 6 continuing forward.
Well, I don't. Yeah, I would say that's more copying features of Android rather than
Yeah.
Samsung.
They did go that way.
But I think they're at this point the operating systems have gotten to such a mature point where they're just literally borrowing things from each other
Yeah.
and slowly building. I don't think they have any more room to innovate.
And I also think that's a conversion. If somebody wants to go from Samsung to iPhone, it won't be
Right.
so difficult.
Exactly, and that's been
vice versa.
Samsung's goal ever since the beginning, right? Competing with the iPhone, having similar looks, which is why they got sued for their what was it, their
Yeah.
S2 or S3.
And then Dunpeel said from hardware to software changes, which is what we're talking about. Yeah, I mean, I think every company has to do that. I mean, look at the graphic cards, for instance. No other graphic card company is gonna want to skew their graphic card because who's gonna buy it? Because
Yeah.
if NVIDIA comes out with something, every other company has to be super similar, at least 90% similar to what NVIDIA has, like EVGA and XFX. I don't even think that XFX makes NVIDIA cards anymore.
They do, yeah.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
I mean, all those companies, all companies have to do that. I mean, look at the smartwatches too. They all have to be.
If there's one place Apple has succeeded, it's been smartwatches.
Yeah.
Everyone's wearing an Apple Watch, and they're killing the game in smartwatches. I commend Apple for their support. They've got one of the best support, I guess, services out there. They've been really crappy about all this battery crap. That stuff bothers me. And they make fun of Samsung and all this stuff. Apple fanboys go hard at Samsung. Oh, your batteries blew up. Yeah, well, no one wants to mention that iPhones have blew up in the past. iPhones have had their shares of problems like Bengate and bugs and
I mean, how many people?
antenna issues.
We'll talk about that next. Dunpeel wants to talk about UFOs.
All right.
That's actually a subject that I researched on, which is hilarious. But going on with like iPhone batteries and how they die so quickly within a year or two, and people are having issues with that. And I think it's because everybody's always plugged in. So one thing with smartphones in general, don't keep your phone plugged in at all times.
Oh yeah.
Let it drain.
I think the to maximize your battery life, like your battery cell life, you're gonna want to charge it to not 100%, but maybe like 98% would be a good thing. And then you don't want to let it die all the way, but you want to let it get to about 2% maybe, and then put it back on charge.
So, I don't know if the Google phone has this, but I was looking through my phone, and my Sony phone has a feature to where when it hits 90%, it cuts the charge in half.
Really?
Yeah, so it's not fully, charging the phone. I don't know if that makes sense.
Oh right, yeah. So yeah, that's what a lot of because of the fast charging.
Yeah.
It'll charge really fast when it's on low percentage, like maybe to 15 to 30 or 40. And then as soon as it hits that mark, it starts slowing down the voltage.
Yeah, voltage.
It decreases the voltage, and that's to help the battery not get too hot.
Yeah, which is awesome.
It is. It's so cool.
Yeah, and that's why I think, like, I've never had an issue with my batteries, and I had Sony since 2006.
Yeah.
And I've never had issues with their batteries.
I've heard the iPhone 10 battery life is crap. I've
Yeah,
had great battery life on my 2XL.
Thank God, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's another reason. It's because people are always connected to it, and I think when they have to do their tests, they have to have somebody from the streets using the damn phone. And I know they do that. I know Sony does that for sure.
Right.
And I know Google does that. But I'm not sure if they test their phones to the full capacity of having all those apps installed and using them for a year
No, for sure
before they
don't.
release their phone, because
I don't think they have enough R&D for that.
Yeah, but they should, right? Because
Yeah, as big as they are.
yeah,
I think Samsung's got like 100,000 people in their division.
yeah, it's crazy, man. And then and plus all the scientists and shit that they have in the background. I mean, with Sony, you see, you can see street tests in Europe where they do all the captures and they test the phone. Hey, what if you had a night, you had a night out? How would it look like taking selfies and and stuff? And they do all that stuff like as a normal user. Like,
Yeah.
And it's cool, and I think Google does that too.
Google is killing it in the camera game, dude. I'm freaking loving it. And it's all with software, which is the sweetest part.
Yeah, and Sony's XT2 Premium is
That new Huawei phone, you see that?
Mhm.
With the triple camera setup, 40
yeah.
megapixels.
That's crazy.
It's pretty sweet.
That is really crazy.
Huawei's got some sweet ass phones.
Yeah. But Sony's coming back with their camera features, so I'm excited for that. And they've always been on top of their game with their phones.
Every phone uses a Sony sensor.
Yeah, every phone uses a Sony sensor.
So it's just all about how you tune it.
Nepio said they should like their batteries. They should, but it's going to cost more money to do R&D versus replace. Yeah, but I think quality test is best because that gives a name to the company.
They do though, like they do those what do they call them, like soak tests?
The stress test.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they a lot of the time they give them out to their employees, just throw them out into the wild or whatever, and that's how they test them. And that's how a lot of stuff gets leaked. Actually, is just when they're in the wild and these guys are just throwing that stuff online.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, no, I think especially Apple. I think they should do more R&D with their stuff.
Dude,
it's just that company makes a shit ton of money.
I just think that they have this immortal perception in people's eyes, and people just need to realize that they're this freaking average company. Yeah, they can fail too, man. They're struggling. I know they've hit record. You know what pisses me off is that people are still paying happily $1,000 for this freaking iPhone.
I know.
And
it's the same damn thing.
It's not going to do anything but ruin the pricing of everything else in the smartphone market. Yeah. God damn it.
Look at the Samsung. When they come out with the Note 8, $900, $1,000.
Dude.
I
paid,
seriously?
like, with taxes and everything, about $1,000 for this Pixel 2 XL. Like, that's insane.
Yeah. And thank God for eBay, but, when these companies, if you wait a month, and that goes another thing, if you wait a month to buy a new phone, a month or two, and you just check eBay for companies that are selling these new phones, you're going to get $200 off.
Yep.
Yeah, if you're going to buy it unlocked. I usually buy my phones unlocked, and they've been successful. So
yeah,
I would personally recommend buying unlocked
phones.
Don't
buy phones from your carriers, guys.
Yeah, don't buy carrier phones. It's not worth it.
I mean, I get it. It's really nice to get on a carrier deal if you're on a budget.
Yeah, like 20 bucks
in the
a
long
month,
run, you're going to save.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to
save a lot of money.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, let's talk about UFOs now, I guess.
UFOs, unidentified flying objects.
Yeah.
When was there I'm trying to think of the last sighting of a UFO or something. I think they exist? For sure, there are definitely, if we're speaking technically, like, there are definitely unidentified flying objects in our space. Aliens, I don't know that there's other life out there, humans at least. I think that there are so many unsolved mysteries of the Earth that it's interesting that we choose to kind of disregard that and just go straight to outer space, what's beyond, when we still haven't even figured out maybe even a fourth of what's even on, our own planet. Like, that's crazy to me.
Yeah, I mean, through the stories I've heard with aliens, Bermuda Triangle, Dragon's Triangle, and how there's a time shift when you go through.
Like the Bermuda Triangle?
Yeah.
Yeah,
and the Dragon's Triangle. Yeah, Dragon's Triangle is off the coast of Japan, and Bermuda Triangle is off the coast of America, or Florida, so to speak, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And a lot of scientists believe that there's a link between both. Almost like I just think these alien ships come through, they fill up their gas here in America, and they just shoot right back out. I mean, it's
We're
'cause,
just a gas station for these
we
people.
are a gas
guys.
station. It's almost like Futurama. And they come in, just, they go down, and a lot of people say like fishermen, they say they see glowing orbs going in and out of the ocean in that area. And when pilots fly through it, they go through a time shift, and their compass goes, out of whack. And when they go on the other side, when they finally make it across, when they gain communication, because other communication gets cut out too, they finally they contact their station, and they said he's like they're like, where were you? Are you okay?
Yeah.
And they go, yeah. And then he goes, oh, it's only been like 20 minutes, and they go, no, you've been gone for 2 hours.
That's
And
crazy.
he's like, shit. Yeah, no, I mean, I believe there's still a lot of crap that's hidden from us.
What if
Yeah.
I feel like it's just you know how like our time shifts as we travel throughout the world, right? But when you hit a certain point in the earth, it's just like you're skipping, you're time jumping in
Yeah.
a way,
Yeah.
but it's at a way more rapid rate than what you would do like if you flew for 20 minutes, but you literally just kind of time jumped.
Mm-hmm.
Because you got to this point in the earth. Maybe it was like a certain curvature or like axis that you hit when you were on this certain tilt. That's crazy, dude.
It is.
That's so scientific. I don't even know if I'm qualified to talk about that.
Science, yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
only a teacher, guys.
No, but but there's been alien sightings all over the place. I mean, if you think about it, if you go way back when, like if you think about like, how the pyramids were built and how many pyramids there are in this world, I mean, there's a lot of pyramids. There's not just the pyramids in Egypt. There was a pyramid here in Illinois.
Yeah.
There's pyramids in Mexico. There's a pyramid in Switzerland on the mountain.
And that's so crazy to think about because I'm totally going on a tangent right now, but like, going off back in the day when we think, Egyptians were primitive in their time, but they were really like so advanced. And those pyramids,
yeah.
dude, those pyramids were electricity conductors.
Tesla.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
And to see like it kind of resonating throughout the world, it's like it's not a coincidence.
Yeah.
There had to be something behind that, and something that's not, just being suppressed possibly. And
Yeah. I mean, even the drawings. If you look at the drawings, there were large humans, large life forms that were in control. If you look at the same drawings,
yeah,
the king of the king that was ruling that Egypt, the part of Egypt, was the same looking king in Mexico.
yeah.
And then
Well, and then a lot of people argue, like going back on the UFO thing, right? That it was aliens that were the ones that actually built the pyramids.
Built the pyramid, yeah.
Yeah.
because they did tests. If humans were to build it, it would have been done now,
Yeah.
not back then. I mean, to me that makes sense. And I mean, come on now. I mean, God never said we were the only beings on this world, on this
Right.
planet, in this universe. So it could come.
I think if you believe in any religion, you believe that there are other beings, whether or not they're in the form of reality that we can see or not is
Uh-huh.
a different story.
Mhm.
I think, and that's interesting to talk about too. There might be those UFOs, but they might be passing by us as we walk through. But are they in the same dimension? Are they in the same reality
Yeah.
that we can actually perceive them with our eyes or our minds? That's
Yeah.
that's insane.
And it's crazy. And a lot of people talk about there are other forms. There's forms of aliens, and there's races. So, as far as I know, there's Pleiadian race, which they look like us, except they're like shorter. I guess they're 5 foot. They're bald, and they look like elves
Yeah.
in a way. And there's the reptilian race,
Right?
where they can shapeshift. And then there's the greens. They call them the greens. And those guys are the clones, where they can clone those aliens into human forms.
Dude, those sound like jinns.
Yeah, no, they sound like hell yeah. When I was reading that, when I was listening, I'm like shit. And there's all sorts of types. There's bug aliens, that are on this planet apparently. They look like manatees. They look like that. I'm not sure where the hell they are, but they're here.
Why are they not like just creations rather than aliens?
So I don't know. I really don't know. So, um, when I was doing research on this, the whole thing with the crop fields and why they do that, why they create their patterns on the crop fields, is to keep the balance on the earth, because apparently the earth was tilting.
Right.
Here, I need that. Yeah, the earth was tilting, so that's why they created the. There's also a supposed bird race. I've never heard of that, but that's probably.
That sounds like some X-Men crap.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
But no, yeah, it's. I mean, they did they do the crop fields to keep the earth from tilting on itself. So there's good and bad aliens.
What's that? Isn't there a movie that was like that? Those crop
Signs.
fields. Yeah.
Yeah, signs. Yeah. But they didn't go in depth of why they did that shit. But there's the plating race. So they have the same rules that we kind of have here. Thou shalt not kill unless threatened upon, and they have that apparently in their rule book.
Right.
So, and if you don't, like, let's say you point a gun at me and you shoot me and I don't shoot you, that's called suicide
Interesting.
in their rule book. So if you shoot me, I have to kill you. So to speak. So the reason why there's no alien wars going on that we don't see, it's because the Pleiadian race don't want to get involved in any affairs, because that's the rule. Don't get involved with any other affairs. The reptilian race and the Greens, they're here. They became involved. You know, they're involved.
Right.
And that's why when you look at stars, and stars as in like music stars, and a lot of people don't want to believe it, but I think there's I think they're cloned. I mean, they have to be in some sort of way, because why are you going to risk the life of a star that big to go in a public area, and he or she might get shot or killed or whatever. If that happens, then they got the real life form to copy off. I mean, look at Hillary Clinton, for instance.
That's interesting.
A lot of people were picking at that for a while, because Hillary Clinton apparently had 6 life forms of her same appearance. It's
What?
weird, right? Yeah. No, I was there's this guy that was analyzing it. Remember when she had her stroke?
Yeah.
That was one of the Greens failing. When she just fell out of nowhere, and they had to bring her in the van,
Yeah.
and then the next day she was fine.
Interesting.
It was weird. It
That
was
is
really
a little
weird. Like she had like a fail.
Carbon copies, dude.
Yeah. And then Dunpeel said there was a supposed thing that happened on a plane with Jay-Z, and they were saying he was a reptile. Yeah, I think somewhere down the line, like even the royal family, they're tapped in with that shit, because it's a little weird, man. Not to egg on them, but
They've got reptile blood.
yeah, it's weird. They like to paint like a perfect light, and that they look so innocent and
Yeah.
shit. But when you look at the real picture, it's like, are they nice? Because back in the day, with the Knight Templars and I can't even think of. So the whole thing with Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton, why they were running. I mean, they're related. I don't know if a lot of people don't know that, but they were related, or they are related. That's why Donald Trump couldn't Senator president.
It's all about bloodline.
Yeah,
man.
they're all blood. They're all bloodline. They're all chosen to be president, or even the leader of something, because they're all related and they all know each other. I mean, it's all come down to the bloodlines, and that's why Trump didn't do what he was supposed to do. When people were telling him what to do, to do it, he couldn't, because they're related, and that'd be a big punch. Trump's family is the Knight Templar family, and Hillary's family is something else. I forgot what the hell she was.
Crap.
But they were both at war at one point, and then when it came to light to be to control the world, everybody had to become allies. Everybody hates each other in the background. Everybody hates each other. If you look at it, nobody gets along in the background. All like the royal powers. Nobody likes each other.
You know what I consider as UFOs is all these psychopaths that run the world that we have no idea exist.
Exactly.
Those are my UFOs.
Yeah. There's also saying, like, going back with like history and shit, that the Romans were were in Canada. Their ship docked in Canada, so they found Roman armor along the coast of Canada. Wasn't sure if that was too true or not, but I thought that was interesting, and that goes along with the deception in this world and how they said Columbus was the one to find America first, which is lies.
Yeah,
Because
Portuguese.
yeah, yeah, because I think the Ottoman Empire, everybody roamed the world at some point, and they probably couldn't make it back to tell the stories because they died
Mm-hmm.
on that land. So it just goes to show you that, I mean, history. When you do your own research, there's a lot to discover. And why do you think there's always wars going on? I mean, look at Syria. There's a lot of history in Syria that's being taken away,
Mm-hmm.
and they don't want anybody to see it or know about it. So they destroy the whole country so nobody can go. Besides supposed military that are there.
Mercenaries.
Yeah, and that's why I think there's what 12 countries or 15 countries there, quote unquote, fighting each other. They're just playing war games, and if there's not going to be there can't be another. Have you read into Planet X and Nibiru? Yeah, I think Nibiru was they canceled that. That wasn't a planet. Those were Earth planet likes or like forms. They found an upwards of 323 planets that look like Earth life or Earth life forms in the universes. It's right by the cup, right by the cup.
Yeah, yeah.
There it is, yeah. So yeah, those were I think Nibiru or Planet X was bigger than the planet Earth. But yeah, no, it's interesting to see how scientists pull that shit off. Where did they find this? I don't know. That's the other question. It's interesting to see that how there's other planets like the planet Earth.
That's
that
so
exists.
cool, dude.
It is cool.
It's, and I think NASA is getting really advanced with their cameras and their
Yeah.
space vehicles and stuff, and in terms of exploring all that. It's really cool what they've actually been able to find in terms of the different materials on planets and potential for life. I don't think that that's in a near future, but I think it's really cool to explore. I think exploration it's so cool. But I think it should be. I don't think we do enough of it.
No, we don't. I mean, look at our oceans.
Yeah.
We don't
know
anything
anything about our
No,
oceans.
we don't know anything about our oceans. And all the little baby things that we see, like the jellyfish and the squids and all that,
There are
There's-
monsters
yeah,
living down there, man.
there are definitely monsters. There's a supposed big ass shark that lives down there too. Everything that we see nowadays, think of like a normal squid that's probably 20 feet long, 40 feet long. They found a tentacle that was 60 feet long.
Yeah.
One tentacle. It was just like half of it too, man.
Yeah.
I was like, damn.
It's crazy. That huge
what did that thing
that
fight down
whale that lives really
Yeah.
below the
Yeah,
ocean.
yeah, the big-ass whale.
Oh man.
It's almost like going back to Jurassic World and how they bring that big ass dinosaur that they had in that pool. Come on, man. I think that thing does exist here in this world. It's just nobody.
Dude, even in the rainforest and stuff, we
Yeah.
still don't even know. There's still so many unknown species that are in the rainforest that we don't know about.
Yeah,
so
that lives on our ground.
It's crazy.
Yeah, no, it's wild. Muslim, by the way. Ramadan Mubarak to you, man. He says, can you watch the TTD dance by Hampton Brandon? I shot a video. Yeah, I'll judge it, man. Is it on your channel? He says, fuck the ocean, scary as fuck.
It is scary as
It
hell,
is
dude.
scary. That's why I'm not a fan of
I
going
would
over there.
man, I hesitate to step foot in the ocean as soon as the first time I found out about those freaking microscopic box jellyfish that could kill you, It's
Yeah.
like, well, dude, I'm not going in there. I'd rather get potentially hit by a bus, man.
Yeah, there's so many things that everybody's worried about guns and shit. And there's so many other things in this world that can kill you.
Yeah, man.
I think I think shark attacks are kill more people
I
than
saw a
guns.
statistic the other day that said that people kill each other with their hands and feet at a way higher rate than guns do.
Yeah.
Even car accidents, suicides with handguns are
Yeah.
huge.
Stabbings.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
So I think we have a mental health problem in our country, not a gun problem.
Muslim says we discover new species in the Amazon every year. Yeah, it's all there. And they give them some weird ass name.
Yeah.
They even discover new fish. Like there was a new a shrimp, like a mixed breed shrimp that they found in the ocean.
Dude, there's so many cool little shrimp. The trigger shrimp is so cool.
Yeah, I agree. And fish too. There was like an invisible fish or some shit.
Oh yeah, it's like a chameleon fish, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome.
That's wild, dude. That's really wild. Yeah, I just, I hope one day that our governments in the world, instead of spewing hate, they decide to get together and work out technology for the best.
Yeah, work towards the
To their
progression
abilities.
of humanity.
Yeah.
And not for
Not
ourselves.
degression.
Yeah.
Because look what smartphones are doing to us, making us stupider. I don't know, stupider is not even a word, but there you go. That's an example.
That's the one thing I was excited to see at Google's developer conference this past couple of weeks was their initiative to get us to use our phones less.
Yeah.
And so that's one thing I'm really excited about in the AI world is that, phones should be, our phones should know what we want to do. They should automatically do it for us, and eventually they're meant to help us spend less time, dealing with this side stuff of life and help us to get more focused on stuff that's more meaningful and valuable to our societies.
Yeah. No, I agree.
I think that's cool. I thought it was a boring presentation, but I think it's a cool initiative.
Yeah. Muslim said, I hate sharks. They are pure evil. Do you know when they are in the mom womb, they eat all the unborn babies? Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, man, that's circle of life right
I
there.
think all animals do that. Like black widows kill their husbands.
Yeah.
That's weird. That sucks. It's like, hey, thanks for knocking me out. Now I gotta kill you. Like, man, that's like Snoo Snoo from Futurama.
You paid the price.
Death by Snoo Snoo. It's like, Snoo Snoo? I'm gonna die by sex? Is that good or bad?
I guess it's a good way to go out, right?
Bunch of Amazon women banging the shit out of you.
You just, you do what you gotta do, and then that's it. That's your life.
Yeah. Yeah. WPS says, we as a human race would have to get over hate and jealousy for that to happen. Yeah, I know. I understand, man. I think that's what I said.
And that'll never happen.
No, because they love to spread hate
Yeah.
between colors and races, which I think is wrong because, like I said, it all comes down to man. It doesn't even matter what the hell you look like, man or woman. It doesn't even matter what the hell you look
I
like.
think it really boils down to an individual level,
That's what I'm talking about.
right? It's up to each and every individual to be that role model that they would want or that they dream about having, or like, you should be that person, set that role model. One person might catch on, eventually it might become a disease, and it might be a good disease.
A good disease, yeah.
Right.
Yeah. No, I agree, man. But I think a lot of people just need to shut down social media. I mean, not to an extent. I mean, to an extent, to where you're not always glued to it.
It's so hard. It's a monster that's so hard to be tamed.
Like, get a life, man. I mean, not in a bad sense, but, the last 3 seconds of death. I mean, but, it's, I mean, who cares about so-and-so, Because it's about your life.
Yeah.
And I hate it when I hear people spew about other people's problems and shit. I mean, come on, man. You really have to care about yourself before you throw yourself on others. Because then you get lost.
Yeah.
And
Better respect yourself before you wreck yourself,
Yeah,
fool.
exactly. Yeah. And when you get lost, yeah, exactly. And problem in our society is based upon earning money. If you don't do that, you failed. Yeah, that's true.
Oh man, the world is run by greed.
Yeah, it is run by
Absolutely.
greed, and that's why a lot of people are a lot of bad things happen in this world, and it sucks. I wish things can change. Like if the United States didn't go to war, and they spent their money on America like they should have, don't get involved with foreign affairs. That's part of the Constitution. They'd be paying us. Think about getting $1,000 paycheck every like month, so to speak, from our government.
Yeah.
That's an extra $1,000 on your bill. That's $12,000 a year that you earn just for living in the U.S. And it could happen. I mean,
Man, pay all,
Ron Paul did a skit on that.
pay all these freaking taxes, man. Don't
Yeah.
see shit out of it. They all go to Israel, and then our schools freaking suck, and then we want to complain about why our kids are stupid.
Yeah. And then they're even trying to get rid of the school system. I mean, look at Chicago, man. Chicago's getting bombed.
The budget is not looking.
No. And if we start spending money on foreign countries, like Israel, for instance, we're throwing, what, $40 billion now? We're up $40 billion?
That's insane.
$40 billion to a foreign country that's supposedly our ally. That's causing all the problems in the
That's
Middle East. I mean, come on.
Attacked us in the past.
And then on top of the $40 billion that we give them, we're spending billions of dollars fighting those freaking wars, man.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you just get rid of the problem. You just leave. Like Ron Paul wanted.
Oh, but there are no, but there are assets in the Middle East, man. Screw that asset.
asset. Man, we've been to Israel. It's not fun. Yeah,
It's
war
really
does equal
not.
money. Yeah. No, that's true. War does equal money.
Yeah, I
Same
think
with there was a movie. There was a movie with what's his face? What the hell's his name? It had to do with selling ammo and bullets to Africa and shit.
that was with Nicolas Cage.
Nicolas Cage. Yeah. I forgot.
War?
Yeah, I don't know the name
I
of
think
it,
it was
but
called.
that was a good
no,
movie,
was it-
man.
Shit, what was it called? I think it was called War.
I thought that was a great movie. And then you have movies like Blood Diamond, where they like portray like the shit that happens over there. I mean, it sucks. It really does. Like when you start seeing. Granted, here in America, we don't see a lot of the crap because we're spoiled, and let's say 60% of the region in the U.S. I know we're spoiled here for sure.
Yeah.
Where we have what, 4 TVs here? In one little spot, we have 4 TVs.
We've got solid internet, folks. That
Yeah,
should tell you
solid
enough.
internet. Here in Canada. And we can stay in tune with everything. It's crazy because I went to the UK, and I think Dunpeel, you live in the UK, right? And I was asking about their phone plans there, and I guess they do have unlimited plans, but it's more expensive than the US.
Yeah, I was in Ireland like 2 years ago,
Yeah.
and I was talking to some guys out there, and I was talking to them about their phone. I mean, their phone
Oh,
plans
okay.
suck.
Dunpeel's in the US. My bad, man. I keep thinking,
Hey,
you're
man.
probably this other guy. My bad, Dunpeel.
We were one letter off. UK, US.
Yeah. No, my bad.
Close enough, bro. They both
bad,
speak
Dunpeel.
English.
But yeah, I don't know if you guys, I don't know if you travel to foreign countries, but I know people that went to like Czech Republic and stuff, and they also said the same thing. Like to get what we have here, they have to pay more. I mean, look at gas prices, for instance. The same shit. In the UK, they're paying
Yeah.
$6. $6, man,
Yeah,
per
that's
gallon.
crazy.
And everything is just expensive over there. And I'm talking about London, for instance, which is a more expensive city, I guess.
Well, they're not. Are they part of the UK? No, right?
Yeah, London is.
No, because they exited. I thought, right?
No, you're talking about the euro.
Oh.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
they
that's right.
exit. No, London's part of that. And you have
London,
London.
London is
You have Scotland and
pound.
Wales.
They use the British pound.
Yeah, British pound, yeah, which is expensive as fuck. I spent $120 and got 60 pounds, or 70. I don't know the conversion right now. It sucked. I was like, man, I felt broke, man. I went in there. I mean, you can go there with $1,000 and you come out with what, 600
You
bucks?
really do. It's
Come on,
like
man.
shit.
It's like, I went in there happy, and now come
It's
on.
not
man.
even that. They give it to you in like coins and crap too. It's like, what is this, man?
Yeah, and their paper feels weird,
Yeah, it's
but
interesting.
it is all coins.
It is. They got the euros and
Yeah,
stuff. You
I
got
still
like
have-
2 euro coins.
I still have a couple. I still have a couple here, but no, it's crazy. Food. Let's talk about food. Like in Europe, it's totally
Dude,
different.
food is so good in
It's
Europe.
so good.
It's so
because
freaking
they don't
good.
have the GMO crap
Yeah,
that we have
everything
here.
is non-GMO.
Yeah.
I'll tell you one thing. Like I said, I was in Ireland. Their candy over there is amazing.
Yeah.
I don't know what they do differently about their candy, but it's so good.
Well, the meat that comes from Ireland is awesome,
Oh
dude.
man, the meat.
Like their McDonald's is totally different. Dunfield said, personally, I think the U.S. would be in a better place if we didn't have stores that you can buy whatever you want. Yeah, I know. Walmart, for instance.
You can't take away my snack shopping, bro. Come on.
I think, like I said, this comes down to being spoiled again. Walmart or
We're
United
just
States.
we're just fat asses. We need to control ourselves better.
Yeah, and that's where I think fasting comes into play. Fasting, if you fast, you'll get rid of all the needs and wants that happens in your life. You get to have self-control of yourself. You don't snack all the time. You don't do this and that. And I think if you do a quick fast for yourself, yeah, like food, have stores open certain times. It was like that, Dunfield. It was like that. I know you remember. It was like that where
Before
nothing
like all
was
the
20
super centers opened, when all the mom and pop shops were
Mhm.
still like head of the game.
were still available. Yeah.
Yeah, there wasn't
Yeah.
all that 24-hour crap.
Yeah. Once 20, that's where it comes down to being spoiled again. We're that spoiled to where we can go 3 a.m. and buy something.
But then there's the argument where like, yeah, it's open 24 hours, but you're also giving people more opportunity for jobs. There's
Yeah. Yeah.
there's that as well. People need time to work, and I guess doing that helps them. Although it helps us be more of a fat ass as well.
Yeah, but we become self-sufficient. We become self-sufficient on that stuff. So what if that closes? Where do we go next? Like, I mean, granted, in our area we have Target, Walmart, Jewel, Mariano's,
Yeah, so many options.
Aldi. I mean, it's all there. And so if one closes, we still have another to go to. But if they all close, I mean, then we have to rely on Amazon.
Yeah, it's do me up Prime.
yeah, do me a prime, bro. Yeah, no, it's wild. Just to think about it, it's just crazy of all the stuff that we have available to us here. I mean, that's where the freedom comes to play.
Yeah.
Like that's why God. I always say God bless America. It is a double-edged sword with that. But I always say God bless America because when you go to a foreign country and you come back here, you're like, damn.
Yeah.
I'm glad to be home.
Yeah, we're living good here.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm glad to be here, but I also think this country needs a reset.
absolutely.
Like, because we're so wired, so to speak. We're always connected to something, and if you disconnect yourself from something for 3 days, see how your body reacts to that. See how your mind reacts to that. 'Cause a lot of people go to their phones. Like that's the first thing they wake up to. That's the first thing they go to sleep to.
Treat your eyes to something better.
Yeah, man. I mean, look at the open world.
Yeah,
When you go out, I mean, I know there's people out there that actually do that. But when you go out, try to refrain yourself from looking at your phone and looking at your surroundings. It'll make you better, so to speak, as a person as well.
Yeah, as awesome as it is to catch the next moment that you can throw up onto YouTube, it's also just as awesome to be a part of the moment where you potentially are, a part of saving someone or helping someone or, just doing anything that is more useful than just tapping a glass slab.
I mean, I get it when there's moments to have to record and when there's moments not to, but I just think you just have to pull yourself back because we're just stuck in the society of I want to be the new popular, I want to be popular, I want people to see me, I want people to know me. I mean, personally, I
So
can
much
give a shit.
attention.
Yeah, dude, so much attention.
We're attention junkies.
People crave attention, and it's not just in this country; it's everywhere.
Yeah, man.
It's all over the world.
It's even worse in different parts of the world in terms of just wanting attention. And
Yeah, and Dunfield said I stopped using Facebook, only have it for people I hardly speak to. Yeah, I was the same way, man. But I could just call them, and we're lazy, and it's easier to comment on their page. Stuck in the society of look at me. No, it's true. It's so
it
true.
is.
And that's,
You couldn't have said it better, dude.
yeah, and that's why I left Facebook to see who my real friends were. To see who would really talk to me. And people stopped inviting me to stuff because they would do Facebook events.
Yeah.
And that's cool and all, but I mean, I got a phone. You got my number.
Yeah.
You can text me, right? I mean, come on, like that hasn't fallen off the spectrum. I mean, it confused me for a second. And then they see me when I do go out. They're like, "Oh, I didn't know you were going out." I'm like, "Well, you know, it's a two-way street here. We both have each other's numbers, but do you really want to hang out with me?" Is the next
Right.
question. I mean, it's like that, and that also goes for like the dating society. Like, when has it? That's not gonna stop now because everybody's too afraid to say, "Hey, you want to go to dinner with me?"
Yeah. I
If
mean,
the
it's
woman-
just, dude, it's just all about hooking up now too. You got things like Tinder, you know.
Everything's about hooking up now, dude.
So-
You don't even need Tinder for that, dude. I mean, it's like it's almost it's scary and it's easy. It's weird. It's weird, man. Obviously, I had a problem with that. We all had problems with that.
Yeah, man.
Man, I didn't care.
That's how
I
they
didn't-
get you.
Yeah, I mean, I personally didn't care because, you know, you're gonna meet that right person. You're gonna thank God that you didn't do those stupid ass mistakes. Let's see. It's like people taking pictures of the food they eat. Come on, I know.
Oh,
That's
this
where-
is what I had for breakfast. This
Yeah.
is what I had for lunch.
gives a
Oh, wait,
shit?
here's my snack in between.
You know, unless you're doing like a food diary, that's a different story. But if you're gonna sit there and mope about your damn life, I mean, that's where it comes into. People talking shit about other people. Oh, look, so and so's eating chicken.
You should
Or-
congratulate me on the meal that I'm having.
Yeah.
Screw you, man. You're having some chicken. Good for
cares?
you. That's what a normal person should eat, you know? Like you
know.
you should be eating. You shouldn't be like
And
advertising that.
That comes along with people showing their whole lives on Facebook. Like, oh, I'm going on vacation again. I go on vacation every month.
Yeah, just like Tom Shield said. Look at me.
yeah. Look at me. Look at me. Look what I'm doing. I'm jerking off on a mountain.
Look at me. Wee. I don't understand people sometimes, man.
Nobody understands people, man.
We're just so caught up in other people's thoughts
It's always
about us.
in the moment.
Yeah.
It's always, I want to know what so and so is doing. That's going back with that shit again. And that's why I got out of us. That's why I got out of social media because it was annoying as fuck, man. It was almost, and they did tests where it's like depression happens with that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's I mean that because Facebook reported 60% of people on Facebook are depressed, and it's true. I mean, look at it. And I got sick of Facebook. Everybody having babies and showing, look at my baby. Everybody's having babies unborn. Like, come on, man. Like, I don't give a shit about a damn baby. Congratulations, but come on, one picture's fine, right? Not a million.
Yeah.
I don't want your fucking life book on my.
That's cool. You can update me on your life. Just don't
Yeah.
freaking
Don't spew about it.
saturate my
Yeah.
feed with
Dude.
your nonsense.
And then you end up blocking them, and then the next person has another freaking kid, and you're just like, my God. And then people bitching about their life on Facebook.
Dude,
like we're all
and I think
psychologists.
Facebook is like a frenzy for people being nosy, man.
he goes, my cousin's wife posts pictures, posts a picture of the baby every month. I mean, every month is fine.
Every
talking-
month is decent.
That's fine.
I know
talking-
people who do it like 5 times a day.
I know.
You know what I'm saying?
I knew people like that too. And I'm like, that's cool. But, once a month is totally fine. That's tolerable for me. But, dude, then again, it comes down to, see, baby's now 8 months, and a month later she's now 9 months. That's fine. That's totally fine. Because that gets saved
That's a
on-
timeline update.
Yeah, it's
right
a
there.
timeline
That's,
update. That is a
that's
timeline.
fine. That's
That's
what
fine.
timeline is meant for.
Yeah, not my baby's taking a shit, and then my baby's, oh man, my baby's taking a piss now. How many times does baby go to the bathroom? I mean, come on now. We'll all find that out later, right? I mean, seriously, it's like,
Dude, I think it's sweet. Take pictures, record for yourself,
Mm-hmm.
keep it in a personal library. Put that crap on your own album, you know? You don't have to just stop. You don't have to share it with everybody. Like,
yeah, it's almost
there's
like
just so many like nosy, snoopy people out there that.
But then again, it all comes down to look at me.
Yeah,
Look
exactly.
what I can do.
Look what I can do.
Look what I can do. Oh man, and relationship issues. Oh my god. Oh my god, dude. Like that was another reason. I just have a LinkedIn account, dude. Thank God, because nobody bitches on LinkedIn. Everybody's just like, hey, congratulations. Like that fake message. Hey, congratulations on your year of promotion or whatever. Like, I don't want to hear it, dude. I'm done.
I'm just sick of all the notifications.
Yeah. That's why I got out of all that shit. It was just annoying. Twitter. Oh my god.
I could never get into Twitter. That just
Man, I had a Twitter account because I was running a company, and that pissed me off, dude. I got so drained because I was posting shit, and not only I was posting shit about my company, it almost becomes an ad service, and that's what I
Yeah.
realized that Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all that shit becomes an ad service.
all they're doing is selling our attention.
Yeah,
To
that's it.
yeah, they got all these advertisers on there. They're wanting us to spend more time on their apps, on their services. They're selling our attention.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Um,
Don Peele said children would be a better place if parents got off their phones. That's true. We have to be as parents, or even just elders, so to speak. Um, we have to do what up, fam club? We have to put away our phones, our technology, to show the kids, hey, this is not this isn't life.
yeah.
We shouldn't care what other people I mean, we should at an extent care what people are doing, but at the same time, it's almost like do you
Right.
treat yourself.
Yeah, the message needs to change.
Yeah,
It's not
message does need
something
to
that you
change.
have to. It's not something that you can't live without, but it's a tool that will really help you accomplish things.
Yeah. That's true.
And using it in the right contexts.
Yeah. Just to let you guys know, I'm streaming YouTube and Twitch. So if I'm talking to somebody else and you don't see it on the feed, that's probably why. Don Peele said humans need physical interaction and love. Yeah, that comes down to love and hate. Again, if we spew more love in the world, we'd be in a better place. We wouldn't be, struggling.
Well, and
on-
like the video services, like these video chat services, they're awesome.
Yeah.
Right? Because they let you
communicate.
contact to someone across the world or across the country, and that's sweet, But if
Yeah.
you're, if you live like 5 minutes away or living in the same sort of general area as someone else, but the only contact that you have with them is with your phone, like go see the guy, go see your friend. I don't know. It's just there's a lack of, like you said, human interaction, and I think children are not better off for that because then that's just what they're gonna learn. They're like, oh well, I don't need to talk to people. I can just use this thing to talk to people and get what I need from them.
Don Peele says, I'm seeing more and more by day that people can't speak to one another now. It shocks me how people call the store I work at and can't even hold some question. I know, man. It's so true. It's so true. They don't say, okay, thank you, goodbye. Yeah, that
Dude,
comes
that
down to,
sort of politeness,
it's going out the window.
etiquette is
out-
gone.
Yeah, it's gone.
Kids do not have that nowadays.
They're all pieces of shit now.
man.
No offense to them.
Gimme, and fuck you, like for
Yeah.
giving it to me. Like,
Like,
It's like, okay.
I want, but I can't give.
yeah,
And
we're
it's
so selfish.
It almost, yeah. I was just gonna say that it is a selfish. I took off the clothes, by the way. I'm gonna make a new head, real quick. It's so true. Fan club. I didn't want to say that in the chat, but yeah. Their etiquette is gone, and it's annoying.
Etiquette. It's not only etiquette; it's netiquette too.
Yeah.
Whether it's in person or online, people are
Mhm.
just straight up rude.
Yeah. Assholes.
It's like, where did Mr. Rogers go when we need him?
Yeah. And they're assholes, and at the same time they're I guess the word to use is they're pussies at the same time too.
Yeah.
It's so annoying when you meet somebody now and you can't use certain words here or there.
PC.
Because what the hell is that word called?
PC.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. PC. That's so annoying, man.
Shout out to South Park.
Yeah. Shout out to South Park. Yep. South Park. No, but I wish people weren't so sensitive.
Man, and that's such a big topic too, especially when I know personally, when we talk about disability,
Yeah.
and there has been so much change in the political correctness of wording when it comes to various disabilities, like
Mhm.
retard. It started out with, right, mental retardation. Retard became a thing that was really offensive. eventually became a part of urban kind of language, right? And so they decided to change that. Now it's labeled as intellectual disability. Well, it's like, why do I need to make it such a fancy sounding,
Yeah, I know.
really delicate term? Like, oh, I'm blind, okay, but people are offended to say sometimes that they're blind.
Yeah.
Well, no, I'm not blind. I have a visual impairment. Like, screw that, man. Being visually impaired is being under the umbrella of being blind.
Yeah.
And you know what? An intellectual disability is fine. I'm all for being kind and just. I don't think that. I think words have as much power as people give them.
Mm-hmm.
And to just be anal and constantly changing stuff like that, I don't know if that's necessary.
No, I don't think it is. And it comes down to boys and girls in schools and shit.
Yeah, bullying.
There was one school that said they have to use purple dragons. What the fuck is that, man? That's just outright. To me, that's gay. Personally. And the term gay, okay, that comes back to, we're all gamers. And I've been gaming since 1999. The term gay doesn't mean that guy is,
Homosexual.
flying rainbows.
Yeah.
No. Gay means stupid in my dictionary. Where it's like, hey, that's gay, that's stupid.
That sucks. Yeah,
That's
that's
terminology we grew up with. And we invented like LOL and LMFAO and all that shit, and people just copied off of it and they just went with it.
right.
So it's funny because when and going along with the lines of that's Jewish,
yeah.
man, we grew up with that shit, and it doesn't mean like any offense towards them.
Yeah.
It's just going off the stereotype. It's all stereotype.
Yeah.
And they're our cousins.
Right.
So I mean, I personally don't care if somebody comes to me, I'm offended. I'm like, I'm fucking probably part Jewish too. Who cares?
Right.
But it's just people are again.
Way too
So sensitive
sensitive.
about this
Yeah.
shit.
Very
I mean,
sensitive.
It's like going to an Arab and calling him a terrorist. I mean, if you call me a terrorist, I'm not gonna give a shit. I'm gonna be like, cool.
Yeah, like I said, there's only like power behind that word if you give it power.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, well, I think context is a huge thing too that a lot of people don't put into play.
Yeah.
It's like, what context did you use it in? Yeah, you called me gay, or you said that was gay. Did you say gay because he did something that was maybe would be considered as like something that a homosexual person would do?
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, or no, that's not what I was doing. I was
No.
saying that was gay because I don't like this,
Yeah.
which is totally different.
Yeah.
You know, like,
100%.
bitch could mean a female dog.
Yeah.
But like, he's a bitch could mean something different.
Yeah.
You know, like,
he's stupid.
right.
Yeah. I mean, it's just context that we understand ourselves, like that we connect to, that you guys can probably connect to as well, or correlate that same terminology. I mean, it's all there. I mean, it's funny as hell, man. It's funny growing up in this society. It's funny to see the changes on what's right and what's wrong.
Well, and it's really interesting too. Like, I guess being in the education field, right? I've had to go through this whole cleansing process of my language, and I've had to politically correct myself when I'm talking about certain things like disabilities or just cultural diversity and stuff like that. So I think I understand why it's there, but I don't think it should be like, man, I think people should just calm down, take a chill pill. That's speaking as a person with a disability. Come on, guys, that should say something. And if you guys don't know or weren't able to tell, I'm actually blind, not fully blind, legally blind. Don't have any central vision, so I do use my peripheral vision to kind of see where everything's at. And I've decided to use that to go ahead and help other people with vision impairment. So I've gone the education route. I do teach kids that have visual impairments, and I think it's really rewarding. And man, they're such awesome people. They're so funny. And one thing I do want to mention is don't be afraid of a blind guy walking down the street with a stick, because he's just a normal guy. He might whack you with the stick. I've done it on purpose a couple of times, I'm not going to lie. No, you know what's really funny, dude, is we used to play a game. I play a sport called goalball. It's a Paralympic sport originally created for people with visual impairments, but it's a sport that anyone can play. And so we used to travel to sports tournaments around the country, and my team and I used to have a game that we would play in the airport. And so a couple of us would be walking with the white canes, and we do our little blind train where the guy with some vision like myself would be leading the pack, and the totally blind guys would be having their hand on my shoulder, and it'd just be like a line of blind guys walking through the airport. And so I would usually have a guy next to me on my right or left with his hand on my shoulder, and he'd have his cane. So anytime we'd see a person of interest walk by us that was a prime suspect for our prank, so we thought it was, I would squeeze his shoulder, and he would swing his cane left or right and whack the person that was walking with their luggage or something. And so one time we were doing that. We were walking, and there was this guy with a briefcase. He was a real business guy, had his cell phone in his ear, and he's walking, just paying attention to his conversation. And so I get this shoulder squeeze going, and he swings his cane right, and this guy straight up does like a football like juke hop like with his briefcase and everything, dude. And he's just like looking back like, what the hell just happened? This blind guy just tried to wipe me out.
Do you guys do like a social screen and record that shit?
No, dude, we would have such a blast. It would be so funny.
That's funny as hell.
We also used to play a game where our coach would mess around with some of our blind teammates. We'd go to a restaurant, and he would kind of dig his hand into the back of the booth or the seat when our food came. And so he'd like do a little motion of sprinkling something on top of your food. And he'd be like, oh, so-and-so, I just put a piece of my back hair in your food. And so the kid who's blind would just sit there. You can't see his food, so you don't know if he's serious or not. And so he's just sitting there. Everyone's enjoying their food, and you just see this kid just sitting there. And he's like, "Hey, what's up, buddy? Why don't you eat your food?" He's like, "Coach, did you seriously put a piece of hair in my food?" Like, he's just all freaking out. And we do that with like bugs or things on the floor, and it's a really fun time.
You guys are normal people.
Yeah, exactly.
You guys are just normal.
And I joke around with my blind friends a lot. I'd be like, if they're totally blind, it's really funny because you can be walking along the street with them. You'd be like, hey, man, look at the clouds today. They look awesome. And so he'll look up and be like, yeah, they look really nice. I can really see the red outline or whatever. I'm like, man, I enjoy your enthusiasm and spirit for that answer. So, and next time you see a blind guy, don't be afraid to approach him and use language such as, hey, man, you see that? A fun thing that I like to say to blind people is, hey, man, I'll hear you later.
That's funny.
They get a kick out of that. The one thing that frustrates me the most as a blind person is when people come up to me or when they find out that I'm blind, and they'll be like, oh, no way, you're blind? Are you serious? Do you know sign language? No, I don't. I'm not deaf, so I don't know sign language. I know Braille.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the thing with the bumps, right? Yep, that's the thing with the bumps.
I'm glad they know that, though.
No, but the funniest thing is when they actually start talking really loud to you.
Oh, yeah.
I'll be at the airport or something, and they'll try.
I'll be right back.
They'll try to help me to my gate. I'll be like, oh, you want to hold my hand, baby? Here, take my shoulder. I'll be like, no, it's okay. I can see you well enough to follow you. And they'll just be like, oh, are you sure? Oh, go ahead and sit in the wheelchair. I'm like, no, I'm good. And they'll force me to sit in the wheelchair sometimes. They're like, just take the ride. You might as well. All right, screw it. So I just sit in the wheelchair. And so they'll be talking to me. I'm like, yeah, I'm visually impaired or whatever. Like, oh, okay, how can I help you further? Do you need help to the gate? There's a place where you can get food. I can hear you just fine. I'm not deaf. I'm blind.
Yeah. What?
The problem is with my eyes, not my ears.
And that's funny because like your ears are more sensitive. Because you become more dependent on that, right?
Yeah, exactly. And that's actually a funny myth too, is that a lot of people think that blind people just have super hearing. Um, it's true in a sense, but it's not something that just happens because you're blind. It only happens because you have to rely on your hearing senses because you don't have your sight to rely on anymore. So basically your brain is unlocking, more power to that core, and it helps you kind of enhance that. So it's really listening skills that are developed over time, and people who are really awesome at that actually develop something called echolocation, which is something that I've tried to do, but I don't have I think I've listened to way too much loud music to get echoes back from walls, because there are some guys that can just like click and they can walk without a cane just because they get their echoes, they travel just like bats. It's awesome.
That's crazy. Google's coming out with something like that, right?
I'm really mad, dude. Well, apparently there's a new version of Google Glass coming, which I'm really excited about. And I'm really excited about the new features they just they're going to introduce in Maps. Like the Street View thing.
Yeah.
You know how previously, like, Maps, when you're walking, you can only just view yourself as an arrow or whatever.
Yeah.
And like follow yourself on the map. Well, they're adding maps. They're adding camera functionality into Maps, and their AR technology. So you're gonna be able to, like, as you're walking and getting directions from Maps, point your camera as you're walking, and it'll see the world around you. And I don't know, those like racing games where sometimes it gives you those virtual arrows to go right or left.
Yeah.
It does that, like telling you should turn here, and it gives you arrows. And they even showed off an example of having the ability to follow like a red dog, to leading you on your path to wherever you're going. I think it's awesome. And I think the potential to have something like that in glasses is ridiculous. What'd you say? I think, yeah. I mean, if you're following like a red thing, my vision for Google Maps eventually was like being able to.
You want more soda?
Sure.
Or not soda, Kool-Aid?
Sure. My vision for that was being able to follow like a red line or something as you were walking to figure out where you were going.
So red would be the preferred color now.
I think so, because it really just highlights. I think red is
It's like the perfect color.
It's a nice pop.
Okay.
I think it also depends on
Better than hot pink.
the context that you're in too. Because if you're in like a sort of a light environment, then I think it would need to change. Red would be. No, I think if it was virtual, I think red would be the perfect color.
Okay.
Like as a trail.
Okay. That was always my question, like what color best fits you guys?
Oh, it depends on. That really depends on individual basis. Like every person, like even a person with this.
Just like, I know words. But you're funny, man.
Yeah, man.
I want to get you over here.
I enjoy your company, bro.
Yeah, you'll join us in the next one. We're gonna try to do this once a week. So if you want to chime in, that'd be awesome.
I gotta say, you're putting in some really valuable input, and I appreciate that, man. Not a lot of people would come on and actually spit some real talk with us. Ha! I just underlined myself. I'm gonna slide off camera for a second. Had to hit the vape.
It's 2 o'clock.
Really?
Yeah. I didn't realize how late it was.
Damn.
Whatever. We can wrap it up. We can talk about it a little bit more. Jumpo said it boils down to go be scared, to talk/speak.
Yeah, absolutely. Speak your mind.
I'm back. Yeah.
Just don't be a fool.
Yeah.
I pity the fool.
But then again, that comes down to a lot of people are afraid to speak out because of all the shit that's going around. It's like, I'm afraid to say this because I might offend so-and-so.
You're going to offend anyone no matter what,
Yeah,
I feel like.
you're going to offend anybody. I mean,
someone's going to get offended.
that comes down to, I mean, look at everything that's happening nowadays. For example, video games, right? I mean, it annoys me to a great extent, but I get why they do what they do. I know we talked about this before, but look at Call of Duty and Battlefield 5, or Battlefield in general. Just look at the turning points that they've come through. Battlefield 5, Epic said, if you can prove I'm wrong, then I'll learn and grow as a person. Yeah, that's true. But Battlefield 5, they came out with their trailer. Of course, they're going to have a woman in it. That's fine. But the time setting, and if you want to go history for that matter, I feel like they're changing. That's why I say his story.
Right.
Because it's his story. It's their story.
Right.
This is the story that they're explaining on why they're doing the shit that they're doing, and the direction that they're taking, where they have to be politically correct now. You can customize your character to be, a girl, obviously.
Right.
You can have prosthetic arms or legs, I believe legs. But to me, you bring it back. This is a World War II setting, and to me, from reading history, Dumpio, thank you for subscribing to my channel, man. Thank you so much. Like I said, if you wanna join our combos on like Discord or something, let me know, and we'll drop you in. But Battlefield 5 has taken a turn on events on their own, and I think they did that for reasons. That's why they kept saying we're gonna tell the untold stories of that war. They're not gonna go back to like the U.S. side and Germany and whatnot, or like playing the typical sides. Which I think they could have definitely 100% pulled that off. But there was a male dominance, of course. You had some female snipers here and there in the French, France, Poland. But these were almost like freedom fighter groups. They weren't soldiers specifically, military, and that's what they're kind of portraying here, where there were women in the military back in the day. There were women in the military, but they were medics.
Yeah.
They were in the background. They were doing the work.
Right.
They were doing the work. They weren't fighting the battle. They weren't fighting on the front lines like the men were, because it was mainly men, especially in World War I.
I mean, even then, they had hard battles on that.
Hell yeah.
On those medic tables,
Hell yeah.
It was insane.
Because they would get attacked. They would get attacked and stuff, but there was a code in the war. Tempest said they were fighting for what was theirs. You didn't fight if you had no arm or legs. You were done. Yeah, no, that's so true. And there weren't prosthetic arms back in the day.
True.
There weren't. The technology wasn't there. That's why I was confused, man. I was like, why are they doing that?
It's a confusing narrative.
Why are they pulling that in? I was like, kind of weird, man. I was weirded out by it. But the trailer, the Battlefield 5 trailer, threw me off completely. And then, I had a dislike to it. And then I started hearing the developers actually talk about the game, and I'm like, okay, this actually sounds great. This actually sounds like a great game. Why didn't they show what they talked about? Like, it just didn't make any sense. It's like they threw a movie trailer out there, and nothing about that movie trailer was in the movie. So it's like, what the hell? Why did they do that? They made a Michael Bay trailer, and then they go off and say, oh no, it's not going to be fast paced. It's going to be more squad oriented. It's going to be, if they explain that in the trailer, some studio had the same Some studio had the same. Yeah, yeah. No, probably, and he probably got fired too. What do you mean? You're thinking rationally here. You can't do that here. But a disconnect within the company, yeah. No, I totally agree. There was a big disconnect in the company, and it was very odd to me because I'm in the game development realm, and we're designing a military simulator, and it's frustrating to see great companies, large companies that make millions, most likely billions, and they're still I feel like they're still behind in what they can do. I mean, granted, they're doing great stuff. They got the thing finally to where you can toss a grenade back, you can shoot a grenade in the air. They didn't explain any of that, but they showed it. They didn't explain it though. Where you can land on your back, and you can shoot. I mean, obviously you can land on your belly and you can shoot. You can lean from side to side and shoot.
Do you think that the sort of gaming industry release cycle needs to start shifting? You know, like maybe they shouldn't start releasing games every year because they're just becoming so.
It's been 2 years.
Oh, it's been
Almost
2 years.
3. Yeah, they released Battlefield 1 in 2016.
I see.
So they did a lot of revamping. I'm not gonna lie. They did a lot of modifications to where you can take an LMG and you can shoot through the wall. I don't know about the whole machine gun shooting down a plane with. Yeah, I know. I think he shot it down with a grenade. There was a grenade that was thrown in the air and he shot it, and the plane happened to be at that right moment and hit it. I think they got that scene from there was a Halo movie that was being in the works, or there was like a Halo scene, a snippet, where the guy threw the grenade in the air and it blew up one of the space fighters or whatever. I forgot what the hell they were called. The alien space fighter. I remember that scene specifically.
I haven't seen the trailer.
You haven't? Great trailer. Yeah, no, yeah, he threw the grenade, so you can throw enemy grenades back at the enemy, pretty much. So you can do that. You can pick it up. There's specifics on how to do that. I didn't get it because in Battlefield 1, a grenade takes about 5 seconds to explode. So if a grenade's thrown, that's already gonna hit your spot. That's 3 seconds. You throw it back. That's 2, 1.
I wonder if the throwing back of the grenade is just gonna be like a animation sort of thing, you know, where it's like, oh, you hit X, I don't know, a certain key, and then
V or something.
Right, and then it's like a little movie clip. He throws it back, or is it actually like, oh, you have to pull back on your thing?
No. In Data Defeat Source, they had it to where you can pick up a grenade as well and throw it back.
Okay.
To where you pick it up, he picks it up, and you can throw it. And then in this game, it's the same thing.
Okay.
So the trailer was so fast paced, like I was talking about. So fast paced, you didn't notice half the things that were in there. I think they had a black German guy that was falling down the stairs and they shot him. I didn't get that part either. I'm like, come on, man. Like, there's a point where you just gotta stop and think about stuff.
A black German guy.
A black German soldier. I don't know if somebody pointed that out. I saw it and I was like, man, I don't know if it was just the lighting in the room.
It might have been a crowd that sat in the sun too long.
The black guy was trying to escape. He was like, "Oh shit, I'm in the set now. I'm on the wrong side."
It's a new strategy. He's put mud all over himself.
Yeah. And the fact that you can add war paint, like Braveheart war paint on your face.
Oh really?
Man, that's just weird, man.
I would do like a Tropic Thunder thing, like Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah, no, you can do that.
That's awesome.
But I just find it funny as hell that they're pulling that in, which they didn't do that either. They just took mud and they wiped it on themselves. That's different. That's understandable. It's almost like they're taking the surreal and putting it like into the game. It's like they said, they're making their own game. They're making their own history, and that's what I understand. They're taking untold stories, but they're taking World War II and they're skewing it. They're not really like going forward. But they did say it was supposed to be slower pace, so I'm excited to see that.
Yeah, I mean that's interesting, though, that like what you just brought up, that like it's not necessarily based on true history, but they're sort of making their own history, right?
Yeah, and if Call of Duty said something like that, that would have been understandable. But Call of Duty was like, no, man, we spent 2 years, 3 years researching, doing all this shit, and then you see the actual game, and you're like, what the fuck is this? Yeah, they are running out of ideas. I think that's what.
Do you think
spice up the story?
Do you think like, I guess the gaming industry fan base is really wanting something that's true to life, Or
I
is
do.
that like a niche thing? Like that's within.
Because video games, people learn from video games, and people like especially kids nowadays, because that's the
That's
majority of playing.
true. That
Because
that's a really good point.
because guys like us, we already know the history. We already know the whole bullshit that happened. Um, but like going back to Medal of Honor back in the day, where they told the stories, and they
Yeah.
brought back the history books. That's awesome. That was awesome, and I miss that shit. I really do because you don't see that stuff anymore. Call of Duty 2, Call of Duty 1, they
Yeah.
had it all, and then they just went to crap. Like
Right.
they're just like, oh,
It
we
truly can be a very valuable history lesson. That's crazy.
yeah, no, it is.
If
And then
it's done
people-
right.
That's why it frustrates me when Call of Duty fucked up. The new Call of Duty World War II. They just did their own history, and then they tried to back up like, oh, they did have Russian weapons on D-Day Beach. No, they didn't. Come on now. They didn't have enough ammo, enough guns. They had all that shit behind the lines.
I don't
because-
think I don't think they think people would like read into it that much, but then when they actually start getting all this backlash, it's like, well, Crap.
It's almost like, yeah, it's frustrating, dude. It's frustrating to me, because it's little things like that. The game is cool. I'm not gonna lie. It's cool. It's great. It's beautiful. But when you mess up a part like that, that's important. That's in our lives that we learn in school and shit. Like I said, and again, problem is some people getting bored of the same stuff. I didn't mind. I wouldn't mind World War II setting with Carrington and D-Day, especially with their technology now, with the destructibility. That'd be so cool to see that. Just like craters being blown up in the sand
well, like
on real time. Because
See,
it's gonna be server side now. It's
I
not gonna
think
be
it's
It's gonna be
cool.
client side.
I think it's cool that games are starting to go the way of like their own stories or own
Yeah.
histories. Because like, I would love to even see like games like a full-on FPS Game of Thrones type thing. Like
Oh, that's
swords.
already
and-
made.
Seriously,
I think they already made a Game of Thrones.
that's pretty sweet.
But then you have Skyrim.
But yeah, things like
Skyrim dominated that market. They had dragons already. Game of Thrones had dragons. they
like I would love to see a new age mech warrior game. Like that would be so sick, dude.
yeah. That being said, I had some kid come into the store say, "Oh, look, it's a Scar like Fortnite." You work in a wow. You work in a gun store? Oh, he works in a paintball shop.
That's funny.
That's funny and sad at the same time. But that's true though. It gets like it opens up kids' minds like they see something different.
Yeah. I think it would be sick for like to come from school having this history lesson, go home, play my video game, and live my history lesson in an alternate reality. Like that's
Yeah.
sick.
Yeah.
Being that assuming that they were the same thing.
Yeah. No, yeah, I know. And it just that's where it frustrates me how games aren't doing that. It's almost like they're afraid to see like backlash,
Right.
from fans. But if you tell it right, if you do it right, you're not going to get a backlash. Because there's look at the History Channel. You can pull shit off of that.
Yeah.
They can totally say, hey, we're making a history game. We want some videos to portray this event. Like Battle of the Buds, imagine having that shit, dude. And I know they can do that with that engine.
Yeah.
Seeing trees get blown up, you can't see 20 feet in front of you. You're running in the blind. That's what it was, man. They had a snowstorm and shit like that flying through. They can do that with that engine. They can create that snow effect coming through. That'd be so cool. And then with D-Day, have that fog effect, so you're not getting blown away, and have the beach way longer because the map's gonna be super huge. Carrington was a big area. That's great, dude. What else? What else is a big iconic space? I can't even think right now. But examples like that. Dumpia said there's some level of responsibility there, where most kids can learn from games. Yeah, I wouldn't mind doing that. Like we're creating a fictional game to where what if the Cold War went hot, and that's our military simulator, to where the Berlin Wall, if that breaks, whose fault? Nobody knows whose fault that was.
Right.
But that's how the war started, and that's where the God forbid that thank God that didn't happen, but that's how our game is starting off. And we're taking iconic battles where they had where they had where battles could have taken place, because that's where they were stationed. That's where most of the groups where like the U.S. was stationed, and where the Russians were stationed on each side. We're taking those battles and we're creating that, or those battles that would have happened.
Right.
We're trying to make that look like a reality, which nowadays in our nowadays history, that could have happened. Thank God it didn't, but on some sort of level, it's kind of happening. But I just wish they would go. Yeah, they're sort of going back to their roots, and I'm so glad that they're going back, that they're getting rid of that archaic style. So they said they don't want that respawn, die, respawn, die, respawn aspect anymore.
Oh, okay.
They want you to be a part of the actual game. They want you to rely on your teammates. They want to build a team-based game. So everybody can revive everybody. It's not just the medics. It takes longer for the groups to, like the other guys, the non-medics, to revive their team player.
Right.
And you can free look around to see if there's enemy coming towards you. So that being said, that's how slow the space is. That's
I think
how
that truly promotes a team, dedication to your
Yeah.
team, because
Yeah, and you have a limited amount of ammo, so you don't have 300 rounds to go around shooting everybody. You have let's say the LMGs only have one mag, or one what the hell do they call it? Yeah, whatever, one mag. So you have 100 rounds to shoot, and you have to really decide on what to shoot. You have to really decipher on what am I going to waste my ammo on. And I think the Thompson has 60 rounds. That's how it was back in the day, man. I remember Call of Duty. Call of Duty 2. That had 60 rounds, 20 rounds in each mag. That's four mags. So you have 20 rounds already, 60 in reserve. So that's how that game was.
right.
And if you run out of ammo, you just pick up another gun and you start using it. And that's what they want to use. That's what they want to implement in the game. That's where slow playability happens. To where in Battlefield 1, you just run and gun, and if you die, you can always spawn back. But they want to eliminate that factor. They want to really do that.
I'm really excited for Walking Dead.
Yeah, that's another game.
Yeah,
What if the Russians won the space race? Thank God. That sounds amazing.
Do you think they'd beat Elon Musk?
Probably. I haven't read info on
I think Elon Musk is going to go out of business real soon.
There's an echo. Oh, yeah, we're in the same room. Yeah. We have two microphones going on. We have two headsets. My bad, man. We don't, I guess we don't listen to ourselves.
Do we have an echo?
It's because when I'm talking, I'm speaking towards you.
I see.
Yeah. So Walking Dead's also coming out with a game, which I'm excited for. The guys that made Payday 2 is making the game. So I'm excited to see that. They already have footage out. It looks great because I've seen behind the scenes footage of it. It looks great. The developers are serious about it. They have 4 teams working on it, so I'm excited for it. It's gonna be a 4-player co-op MMO sort of RPG. So it's gonna be like a DayZ on a large scale. I'm looking forward to that game immensely. Because I've been waiting for a co-op game. So there was a game called The Division that could have been really great. It was great in the beginning, and then the storyline was great, but everything else just went to trash because you had those nerds, again, that played the shit out of the game and kind of ruined the fun for everybody. Have you ever played Fortnite naked?
Once.
Yeah, the devs did. Yeah, the devs did fuck it. No, I don't play Fortnite, man. I actually got off PUBG for a long time because I got bored of it. So right now I'm just playing Battlefield 1 and Insurgency. Yeah, they did mess up that game. The Division could have been such a great game, in my opinion. But they just kept listening to the same 100 people. Hot coil fell, FYI. Huh? Oh, well. Oh, thanks. Yeah, I think he's talking about the sparks.
Oh. Way to be looking out for us, buddy.
Yeah, no, No, it's fine, man. Thanks for looking out. So yeah, so they have they have so Walking Dead. I'm looking forward to that. Look that up. It's called. Just look up the Walking Dead by Overkill, or Overkill is The Walking Dead, and you could see the trailers that they have, and it looks really great. The environment artists are awesome, and how they're designing the interior and exterior environments.
Yeah, I think whether
They're-
you're a fan of the show or not,
Yeah.
it's gonna be sick.
Yeah, no, I know. If you're not a fan of the show, you're probably gonna like the game. If you like zombie games, because that game is gonna be really great.
I've been waiting for a sequel to Left 4 Dead for so long.
Yeah,
That doesn't seem like it's gonna happen, so I'm so excited for the prospect of this game.
yeah. No, this game looks great. They're adding a lot of customizable abilities. There you go. That's the word.
Customizability.
It's almost 3 a.m., so it's 2:30.
Yeah. I forgive you, man.
It's whatever. But they're adding a lot of good stuff that I'm gonna enjoy in that game. So another game I'm looking forward to is this Insurgency Sandstorm.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, and Insurgency has been a great game. It's a Steam game, Steam engine based on the first one. The second one's gonna be Unreal based. The Walking Dead's gonna be Unreal based. Battlefield 5, it's gonna be off the Frostbite engine. I'm not sure if they have a 3.0 yet, but Insurgency Sandstorm, another great game. If you played the first one, you're definitely gonna enjoy the second one. They're doing a lot with that game, which I'm gonna enjoy. A lot of modifications that they couldn't do in the first game that they're doing this in this second one. It's going to be for consoles too, which is great because consoles don't have any serious games out there.
Crossplay? I wonder if it'll be crossplay.
I don't know. They didn't say anything about that.
That'd be
Can't
cool.
Yeah.
I know
That's
they've,
hard.
they've done that with Rocket League. I'm not sure if they can do that like on a bigger scale.
I think no, I don't think they can because FPS games is a totally different field. And I think PC players are just going to dominate that market.
Yeah.
In all honesty, there are some good console players, not gonna lie, but there's a lot of good PC players.
I'm still gonna be playing with my controller on my PC. They're good for something.
Yeah, those are some stuff I'm looking forward to. Dunfield, anything you're looking forward to? Is there any games that interest you that are coming out, or anything in this world that we don't know about, or anybody on the YouTube space?
Enlighten us with your wisdom.
Speak up, join the conversation. Don't be scared. Nobody's gonna make fun of you.
I might.
He might, yeah. Red 2. Yeah, Red Dead Redemption.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's gonna be sick.
Yeah, that looks nice. Rockstar's always good. Rockstar has that. Rockstar and Naughty Dog have stepped up their game immensely. I love that. Those two companies alone, I don't see any. I can't see any flaws because Grand Theft Auto 5, dude.
That was a
That
great
game-
game.
It's still a great game.
They're still adding, dude.
Yeah, that
It's
game
amazing.
is so customizable, dude. They did a great job with that. I'm afraid to see what number 6 has to offer.
Right.
But they did great with that, and I love how you can mod the shit out of it. Like, that's the best. I wish games would bring back the modification. Like, if Battlefield released a mod engine of theirs, dude, I think a lot of great stuff will happen. But I think they're afraid of that because they don't want people to make, like, let's say, a mock version of 2142
Right.
or a better version of their game, or a realistic version of their game. Like with Battlefield 2, they made Project Reality, which is now Squad.
They don't want to be what do they call it? Fuck. Like outshined, you know?
Yeah, they don't want to be outshined
Yeah.
by people who aren't getting paid by. No, I understand. I understand why they do it, but it would be awesome. At least to customize maps, but then again, they didn't want to be outshined. And I think that's why Call of Duty retracted their engine as well. They started that shit, which pissed me off.
That sucks because open source is always awesome.
And that's where that zombie mod came from
Yeah.
in Call of Duty. Was from the modders in that made they made a zombie mod in Call of Duty 4. So they hired them, and they said, hey, we want to see more.
That's
we wanna
awesome.
See better. Yeah.
That zombie mod was so cool.
Oh yeah.
I remember Remember we used to play that for like days.
Oh yeah. And then
You know, what was the best game we used to play though? Time Splitters.
Time Splitters was an awesome game.
It's such a cool game.
That was an awesome game.
Oh man, it was such a good story.
Yeah. Red Faction was also a good game. Red Faction 2.
I love Red Faction.
Red Faction 2 was awesome, and I wish they
The
brought back.
multiplayer was so good.
Yeah, and I wish they brought back a Red Faction 2 for PC or something, dude. Like, not third person, but first person. I mean, they could totally pull that off.
Yeah.
Because they did great. I enjoyed that game.
So
That was the
good.
first game I think with destructible environment.
The rail guns,
Yeah.
all that. Oh
Yeah.
man.
But Time Splitters was a fun run and gun game though. I wish they would remake that. It got super cheesy though. Number 3.
Yeah. A
Um,
game that was sort of, I feel like, not the same, but I think maybe in a similar category was Bulletstorm. I love
Yeah.
Bulletstorm. It's such
Yeah.
a good game.
Bulletstorm reminded me of that Sniper Ghost Warrior.
Yeah.
It was, but it was what more cartoony, I think.
Yeah. I love the freaking leash in that game. Just
I've seen you guys
cool
play
guys.
it.
Oh, it's
I
so
never
good.
played it.
They remade they released it originally and then they remade it like they remastered it.
Yeah.
It was so good.
Those aren't the same creators as Dead Island, right?
I'm not.
Because Dead Island remastered their game. The company did. Which,
I also bought, what was it, the Halos that were remastered.
yeah.
Those are sweet.
Yeah, no, Halo 1, 2, and 3, I think were the best. I think anything by Bungie was the best.
I really liked Halo 4.
was
I know it wasn't
343,
on
right?
PC, but
Yeah.
I really liked Halo 4. I thought it was a good combination of Halo 2 and 3, I guess.
Hmm.
I was really pissed that they didn't bring back like the dual SMG
Yeah.
thing. That was the best part about Halo 2.
Yeah. Yeah.
Halo 2 was my favorite, I
Yeah.
think.
Halo 2 did shine a great light. No, if Halo 2 had that sniper handgun, that would have made it best.
Oh man.
They
Oh man.
took that away, and that
From-
pissed me off when I bought it.
That
I'm
was
like,
such a good
damn.
tool, yeah.
But
It was so deadly.
there's a modder company. They're called Level or something. I don't know what they're. It's look up if you guys want to look up free version of Halo on YouTube, and you could probably see it. It looks really cool. They're building it off the Unreal Engine, and I look like I'm gonna probably get that. It's gonna be free,
Oh no.
and
way.
yeah, all the fanboys from Halo, they're actually making that.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and they got in touch with 343 Studios, to get some insight and stuff, and they're helping them design
That's
it, you know,
sick.
the design flow. It's really cool. It's supposed to be a modification of Halo 3, but they're bringing stuff from Halo 1 and 2, like the sniper handgun that's in
right.
there.
Oh yes.
They're bringing a lot of cool stuff, so I'm gonna enjoy that. There's a World War II game called Hell Let Loose, and that looks really cool. That's a military simulator for World War II. That looks really cool, and that looks their artists, their artwork is similar to ours on our game, which is really nice. I love their artwork, but they're really pulling through. And a lot of people are saying it looks boring. It's because they don't realize what kind of game that is. It's supposed to be a military simulator,
Right.
and it's supposed to be slow paced. It's not supposed to be. See, a lot of people nowadays have ADD, and it's annoying as fuck.
Yep.
It's annoying as hell, dude. If you don't have 1,000 things going on in front of you, they get bored really quickly.
Mhm.
You know, I'm not in for that, especially for FPS games. It's not supposed to be like that, where you have a million things coming right in front of you and shooting right at you.
Right.
Especially for those types of games, like World War II games, World War One. It was slow paced.
Well, yeah. There's no. Where's the experience? The adventure.
Yeah. And there was a World War One game that came out. I forgot what that was called, and that was more slower paced. People said it was fun as hell, but there wasn't a large market for it. And there's also a Civil War game called War of Rights
Right.
that I thought it just looks fun to play with a good group of friends. That looks fun. Where it does take 15 seconds to reload your gun and just shoot. And when you shoot once, you're literally charging in to stab the opponent. And it looks so funny. I think they had it to where 120 people can play on the same server.
Oh my God. That's
So-
madness.
Dude, think about that. 60 people rushing across the bridge. and you have a line of like 20 guys shooting at these guys. It's so funny, dude. It's so funny to see it. When if you watch any YouTube videos on it, you'll probably laugh.
I think
like
it'd be
did.
sweet if they came up with like a old style gladiator, like Spartan battle type
They had
game.
that. They had
Do
that. The game was called what the hell was it called? I forgot what it was called. It just died off.
Really?
Yeah, it died off. But it was a
Seems
fun
like
game.
that would be sweet.
It was hilarious. Like that was probably the funniest
Got
game.
your shield and shit.
Yeah. No, it was fun, dude. And you can do war cries. You can,
That's so cool.
Yeah, it was like a barbarians versus the Romans or some shit. I can't remember, but it was awesome. They had classes. They had a scout class, which is like a quick class.
Right.
Then they had the warrior class, which is like he wields like a big sword. And then they had a guy with a sword and a shield, and they had an archer.
That's so cool.
Dude, it was funny. It was probably one of the funniest games I've ever played. Medieval, and it was fun as hell.
There was that one game that came out recently. What was it called? Shadows of Mordor.
Yeah,
That was pretty cool. I couldn't bring myself to buy it though.
that was number 2, right?
Yes.
Mhm. Abdullah likes that game. Yeah. That game looked like a hack and slash.
Yeah.
The only hack and slash game I ever played was Dynasty Warriors, and that's where it stopped because like I just never got into those games anymore.
All right. I played Shadow Warrior 2 for a little while. That's a pretty cool game.
Shadow Warrior 2? What's
yeah,
that?
it's all about like this ninja sort of thing that you like travel between dimensions and like
Really?
battle demons and like these monsters. It's pretty cool. It's a pretty like dark game as far as like environment goes, so it's hard for me to play. But it's a sweet game. Like I think it's fun. It's kind of arcade-ish, but it's a cool game. You get to mess around with swords. It's first person, so it's really cool.
One game I'm hoping for is that they remake, that they come out with a new Skyrim, Elder Scrolls. I really hope they come out with a new Elder Scrolls
That'd be
game.
sweet. Yeah.
Yeah, because Skyrim still today has been customized to a great extent, which is awesome. Like new stories are being made.
Oh, really? Still?
Yeah, it's crazy. I think they came out with a new mod for it as well. But that game is just like Grand Theft Auto, man. Just like Grand Theft Auto. But to an extent, Grand Theft Auto I think covered all the bases. Grand Theft Auto 5,
Right.
which is crazy. They have a zombie mod. They have a Battlegrounds mod.
They are hard at work.
Yeah.
They're a good team over there, dude.
But I think people just give them the ideas. I think people create the mods and they test it, and then the developers actually build it.
Oh, yeah, I think they had that program, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
Which is awesome. I mean, it shines a new light, and that's cool because the developers not only interact with their people, because
It makes
they
people
don't,
feel like they're a part of the game.
yeah,
man.
hell yeah, where it's like, hey, we made this idea, can you guys actually design it?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, we'll do it for you guys. Fuck it.
That's
I mean,
freaking.
how hard is that?
That's truly connecting with your fan base. I can't say it like better than that. Like,
Yeah, no, that's why I think that group of people. All right, Denzel. He said he will be right back. But I think that group of people, that studio really did a good job with their fan base. I think they really did an excellent job, and I hope they continue to do it because.
I think they will. I think they're gonna use this momentum and really do some good things.
Oh yeah, because they know their next Grand Theft Auto. Everybody's gonna buy that because of how well. I mean, they did great on their sales. They did wonderful. I think they topped it. They topped on their sales.
Shit, I bought it at full price. I'm pretty sure. I don't even think it's like gone down super cheap still, right?
I think it's $40 or.
That's awesome.
It's still good
Like
with all the mods.
for a game
you
to
don't even have to
be,
pay for
yeah,
it.
that's sick. $40.
Yeah, I think it's $40. Don't quote me on that. I mean, and all these indie companies that are popping up out of the woodwork, I'm happy to see that because that's showing love
Right.
to that modding community with the Unreal Engine, and that's why I love the fact that the Unreal Engine is so universal on many levels.
It is a great engine.
It is. It is, and it's so customizable. Like right now we're working on destruction and shit with it, and it's so cool to see um, the progress in that, and I hope I hope we perfect it to where it's on Battlefield terms, which I'm getting close to that.
I'm sure it
It's
will.
great, it's
Yeah.
cool, but there's still some quirks to it, which I don't like. The one thing that keeps getting me, I don't know how to control it. where-
A true artist is never satisfied with his work.
No, no, but when you run into walls, they break. So I don't know how to code that
Right.
to where they don't break, and it only breaks upon impact. Um, so that's the one thing I'm running into. Other than that, it works, and it's cool.
That's sweet.
Yeah, so that's the best part about it. Yeah, but no, that's the cool part about the Unreal Engine. You can take it on many levels. Anything else you want to talk about?
Yeah, I think we can wrap up.
Yeah.
I think we had a really good session.
I think we did, and
Thanks for tuning in.
yeah, thanks guys for tuning in. We went about 2 hours and 30 minutes.
Yeah, I mean,
That's really great.
good on you for sticking with us if you did, and
Yeah.
if you didn't, be sure to check us out on the webs.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We're gonna be doing this. I want to do this once a week, dude, because it'd be awesome to do that and
Yeah.
have people chime in,
I'm down.
quote unquote special guests and stuff. And
Yeah,
this is our first time running this through, and we're hoping to do this more and more often because it's fun. It's fun connecting and communicating with the audience.
throw some feedback to
people.
us, and we'll try
Yeah.
to improve every episode, and
Yeah.
hopefully get some more viewers in. Tell your friends, share the link.
Yeah. Share the love. I mean, you guys are more than welcome to join. Like Dunpeel did a good job. He was in there.
Absolutely.
And same goes to a lot of other people. So I'm glad to see that, and I hope he joins in our Discord and chimes in with his voice, so he doesn't have to type. And it'd be awesome.
Yeah, man. Get some voice exercises in.
Yeah. Voice communication. Yeah. No, Dunpeel's a cool
I
guy.
recognize
watch
your
his
writing
streams.
skills.
Yeah. Dunpeel's there. That's a guy to look at. Look at his streams. Follow him. Subscribe if you have to. Do your thing. But yeah, no, it's so I'm glad this went out well.
Yeah,
Well,
guys. Peace and blessings.
Peace be upon you guys.
Take care.
Good night. And we'll see you on the next one.
Peace.
Peace.